Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT podcast episode. Oh my god, I think 78. I'm pretty sure.
78.
Yeah, probably 78.
Yes, it is. Haha, I just checked. We are back, and we have quite a lot to do, so we're gonna just bump right through it. And on my right,
It's Friedman, also known as Andrew, but mostly known as Friedman. Yes, I can remember the order of my introduction.
and on my left.
Just Tyler. I'm keeping it short because I want to talk about Cyberpunk.
Alrighty, so we obviously E3 has I think the show's still going, but all the press conferences happened already. I don't think there's any left.
I
haven't-
believe
I don't- I
that's
don't
true,
Go to the
Cotton.
conference first, because that's what Tyler wants to talk about.
Sure, I didn't even know about this Blizzard shit, so yeah, we can
Yeah,
do
that happened
Microsoft
prior to
first.
E3.
Are we gonna go through conferences?
Well,
right?
only because I watched the whole Microsoft one, and I know this is all kind of bundled together, and this is all very quick. But I will just say, before we get into it, obviously we are going to be spending basically this entire episode on E3 with a little bit of Friedman spice thrown in at the end.
It'll be the closing section, but it's
yeah.
mostly E3.
Yeah, so there's no topic this week, obviously, and if you have anything that we don't talk about that happened at E3 and you want to get our opinions on, please leave a comment. I mean, this is not our job, so it's not like we can go through and check every single possible announcement. We can just kind of pay attention to what we can.
Yeah, we got lives, you know.
Yeah, so if there's anything we missed, feel free to leave a comment.
Debatable.
We'll at least mention it next week. But yeah, so we're gonna jump right into Tyler's literally. This is like when they do the give your energy to the spirit bomb. Like that's what just happened to you, Tyler.
Yes, I give my entire
when he raised his hands and
Hold on,
said, "You're all
walk us-
breathtaking."
Walk us through what happened in your reaction, Tyler, because I don't know if all the listeners know what happened at the Cyberpunk reveal.
So what happened? So this is what happened, right? So I didn't see the Cyberpunk reveal. I was scrolling. So first, Aiden sent me 4/16/20. I'm like, what does that mean? And so I'm scrolling through Reddit, like not even that long after, and I'm like, oh, Cyberpunk, 2077 trailer's out. Huh. That guy looks like Keanu Reeves.
Holy shit!
But that's impossible. Like,
That
Keanu Reeves
me?
would never be in something like this. So I'm watching the trailer. I'm like, I'm already blown away. Because I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, none of it's gameplay. It's all hype or whatever. And then, like, I hear Keanu Reeves' voice. I'm like, wait a second. And then he takes off the shades, and Leslie's next to me. I'm like, oh my god, that's like audibly I yelled. I was like, that's Keanu Reeves.
Not gonna lie, the
Oh
guy
my
who
God.
when I rewatched the conference as watching one of the guys who I watch on YouTube watch the conference and make comments on it, he even freaked out when the fucking stage raised up.
Dude, when the stage raised up, and then I watched like him announce the release date, and man, that was I had the biggest grin.
Oh yeah,
'Cause it was
It was-
hilarious.
dude.
It was like he didn't even know what he was
Oh,
doing.
he looked so lost. It was kind of like he sounded like he was trying to sound really serious, but
Right?
kind
But
of reading
he
off a
came off as, like,
teleprompter.
In the future.
In the
Cyberpunk.
future, cyber. Oh, Freeman, did you watch it?
It was like he got a draft of the script and didn't quite read it.
Yeah.
He's like, I can probably wing this.
I'm
I can
reading
wing it, and it
off a
worked.
teleprompter.
It went stellar because he said,
Hey, I gotta get through this."
breathtaking. And then the dude in the crowd, you're breathtaking. And then he just replies, you're breathtaking.
You're all breathtaking.
And I
So-
died inside.
So there's actually a little bit to that guy.
Good
Apparently, CD Projekt wanted to give that guy a copy of the game, and then he tweeted at them, actually donate a go-kart to some charity or something.
Oh, wow.
And now Reddit's having a meltdown about it.
Why? Because he wants to do
Because
something
people are
else?
like, oh, this fucking guy taking this to be an opportunity to make them spend way more money and all this shit. And it's just like, oh my god.
Whatever.
Who cares? That's not the important part. The important part is that it was awesome to see Keanu do that, even though he seemed completely out of his element.
Yeah, you could tell he didn't know what the fuck. But what? Anyway,
Thankfully,
Cyberpunk.
yeah, I am excited, and I will and this kind of set the precedent for me because this was like the only thing I really cared about, and the only thing the first thing I saw. And so when everything else was coming out, like over the last 2 days, I will be honest with you and listeners, I don't care. I don't care. Like all this stuff is cool. Like you got just to show you, you got some Final Fantasy VII remake. You got some what else? You got well, the Pokemon stuff didn't come out, but you got a bunch of stuff in here.
Well, actually, we had a big Pokemon announcement last week, right after the podcast. So I still have to go over
That
what
is
was announced
true.
last week before I talk about
Oh
what
my
was
God.
announced this week.
Oh right, yeah, we didn't talk
The
about it.
weirdest timed announcement in history.
But regardless, I am not as excited. And all like I said, all it was like a hype thing. It wasn't even
Wait for.
no, we didn't see gameplay.
Oh
But
yeah,
I thought
so honestly, the one slight worry for it's not even a worry. It's more just anxious. We saw that gameplay thing like over 6 months ago.
and
Right?
they're already spoiling it. Was I talking to you?
Yeah, I'm legitimately convinced this game
About
doesn't
the
exist,
spoil-
and they're just trying to bamboozle us.
Yeah, we
Well,
talked
it's
about
not-
it. Yeah. We talked
Like,
about
oh
it because
fuck, we didn't make the game. What do we do? Throw Keanu at him. It'll distract him.
no.
It will.
We talked about it, Tyler, because this is Jackie from the gameplay trailer,
Yeah, Jackie from the gameplay trailer.
and then he dies in this
Dies.
trailer.
dies in this
Which you have to imagine means that's very early game shit. Like you get 2 missions with him. That actually goes to show to me how fucking early game what they showed us was. But
Yeah.
my only thing is, I believe there was at least a few statements from CD Projekt that were like, we have changed the gameplay since that gameplay reveal.
Goddamn.
Not significantly, I'm sure, but they've changed how systems work and stuff. And it just makes me want to see what it looks like.
Well, supposedly they're releasing something next week.
Why
Really?
so
Supposedly.
weird? I have to imagine
it's
that.
all about riding the hype cycle.
I was gonna
correct.
say, I bet that timeline got kicked up because of the hype around Keanu. Like Keanu rules Reddit right now because of this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
I mean-
he's hot right now.
I mean, I
He got
believe
elevated back to like A-list celebrity status because of John Wick.
I
For real.
believe like one of the posts about Cyberpunk and Keanu was at the top of Reddit yesterday.
Wow.
At least on the front page. And I mean, or top of r/gaming by a million miles at least. I don't remember. Anyway, Cyberpunk looks really great. Like there's a lot of implied stuff in that trailer that looks fucking awesome.
Yeah. And most collector's editions are already sold out.
I mean, I can't
It's
say
not
I'm
all of them.
surprised. I can't say I'm surprised. You know what? So we're gonna get to another collector's edition a little later, Tyler. But there's another one that you might also want to consider. But
There's a couple I saw.
well, then you probably did see this one, but we'll get to it a little later because it wasn't at Microsoft. But just to blow through the Microsoft, because like I said, this is the only actual thing I watched. Gears had the weirdest trailer I've ever seen for Gears 5. It's like the teaseriest shit ever. Where it's just the girl from 4, I think. And
Oh yeah,
her
she's
face
the main
was like
character, I think.
her face was like morphing into everyone else's faces, all these other characters. It was just weird music. And then there was like a side game or something that they showed off. I don't even know what the fuck it was. The guy I
Did you
was
play
watching.
4, Tim?
No, I haven't played a Gears game since like 1.
How did 4 review well, or is it bad?
See,
I loved 4. That's
Wow.
no sarcasm.
that's
I'm
so
very
do
you have
impressed.
hope? Do you have hope for Gears 5 then?
Yes.
So I had no idea you were a big Gears person, Tyler. The guy I watched the Microsoft conference. He actually made a really good comment. Because if 4's great, I believe you. But I feel like the general perception is that Gears has been pretty stale for a long time. And he made a comment that I thought was really good. It seems like Gears could really use like a God of War style break kind of thing.
Well, it did.
Is that what 4 is?
No. Well, you said a break, but they improved a lot of it, and I would say they improved a lot of the segments. Like it
Okay.
went away from the generic whatever Judgment was.
Okay.
I still think that should have stayed like done instead of like a continuation, but I don't know. They made 4 look and play real smoothly.
Okay, I believe you. Like I said, I haven't been into Gears since 1. I played 1 a bunch, and that was about it. And then I got into Halo. And that honestly,
Rightfully
that's it.
so.
That's where Halo kind of took over console playing, and then I never got into Gears again.
Yeah, and then we got the stupid trailer for Halo Infinite.
Well, we can kick that up a notch and talk about that next. Halo Infinite launch game for the next console for Scarlet, which we now know the name of, which
They
is
didn't give a date though, did they?
holiday next year is launch window for both.
Damn it, Xbox putting the gun on the table. We got to escalate this console
Well,
war.
see, that's why
Yeah,
it's
right.
weird because I'm pretty sure Sony's just going to go to E3 next year and say, "Hey, our console's also coming out this winter."
Yeah, they've kind of alluded to end of next year.
Like Microsoft, I thought the whole idea of them coming to E3 and announcing this was to get ahead of the game, not like tie Sony, but
Beyond
have the
our-
hype train first, I guess.
So here's what I'm thinking happened. Microsoft probably planned to have it at E3, and that's why Sony just gave that kind of like offhand announcement. Like it wasn't at a conference. It wasn't anything Sony going like, yeah, no, we're already deep in development of the PS5. We're not really ready to show it off, but like, here's the exact hardware.
Yeah, and
Have a
like
good
here's
day.
how
Like-
the Spider-Man loading tests, like that was public and all this other shit. Like,
But like, I'm not like it wasn't like a particular conference they planned for. It just kind of like was an announcement.
yeah, it
So I don't
just
know if that was
kind of came out.
Sony caught wind and so they're like, fuck it, just get it out there now.
No. There
so
was
people
this whole
speculate.
official, like, The Verge or somebody got invited and they saw how fast Spider-Man Spider-Man doesn't have load times or something.
I don't know how they did that considering they were using the Ryzen 3 that wasn't developed yet. But
I don't know. Anyway, we're getting off. All it is, Halo Infinite. No clue what it is. They showed
I
Master Chief in a
don't
pre-rendered trailer.
Care.
I
You didn't play 4?
no.
or 5,
I played 4 once.
Oh, you played 4?
Let me put it this way. I have heard
Because
about
4 was garbage.
I didn't like 4, I agree.
4 was bad.
While I can't agree with how Halo has gone, I honestly have to give Microsoft some credit because it seems like they're willing to throw the gauntlet down and say we are going to make Halo work again. Like I feel like it would be so easy to just give up on Halo. I don't
They
know.
really should.
I can't disagree.
They
It's
should.
Tyler, Halo is the second thing in my life after Star Wars where the canon that I loved and read of the books as a kid was betrayed and twisted and ruined. I mean, hell,
See,
I don't think anybody likes the whole Cortana is the mastermind of the universe thing.
It's stupid and it's lazy.
But clearly
like,
that's
it
where we're
makes
going in
me
Infinite.
pissed.
way
Well,
to
like-
spoil the Halo series for me. Thanks, guys.
No, yeah, good.
No, Freeman.
Because you know why?
No.
Anything past 3 is
Yeah.
is not my canon.
Exactly.
I'm joking. I really
Hashtag
don't
not
give a
my
shit. I've only
canon.
played one.
Legitimately. Anything past 3, even with the legendary ending, everything past 3 is
So,
not
But
canon.
here's my thing. If they made side games,
But what do
I'd
those
be
look
okay
like?
with side games.
But they've tried that. They made like Halo Wars.
Halo Reach was successful.
But I feel like that was just because it was the first one that really took advantage and was like bigger than 3. I feel like 3 just kind of upgraded 2 in a lot of ways. Obviously, we can talk.
No.
Okay,
3 is a completely different game than 2.
I don't disagree, but it's still Master Chief's story. Reach was their first big attempt to break away, and 3 was so huge. I feel like Reach couldn't have failed in terms of how it was received.
Well, I mean, I could debate that with ODST because ODST was a borderline flop.
But no one really cared about ODST because its marketing was so weird. Everyone was like, "Oh, this is Halo 3 expansion pack, and then it's its own game, and then it's weird, and
Yeah.
you're not playing as a Spartan. You're playing as a ODST."
Well, yeah, but same thing could be almost said with Reach, especially with people who read the books like me,
Well,
and I was like,
y-
or at least
well,
read Fall
hello.
of Reach.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, well, yeah. So then
What
you
else
were
the
just-
comment I just made is
Well,
about this exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I know. That's why I hate Reach. That's one of the major reasons I hate Reach so much is because the story shits all over Fall of Reach, and Fall of Reach was an amazing book.
It was really good.
So
yeah.
cool to read after playing Halo 1. Holy shit. Those
I
books
think-
are
I
all
think
so
I-
good.
Was just like about the multiplayer too, and for Reach, like Reach campaign was like whatever. But that's me. That's my 3 cents.
Your Halo 3 cents.
Halo 3
Anyway,
cents.
so is this a typo? Or are they actually doing a Lego version of Forza?
No, so here's the thing. There was a very funny trailer where they were showing off Forza Horizon 4 or 5, whatever is either out or just came out or about to come out. They had the cars driving around in the trailer, and then all of a sudden down the road comes a bunch of Lego versions of the cars blasting everything is
God.
awesome.
Oh,
It was fucking
Christ.
hilarious. It's just Lego is in Forza.
Okay.
And it's an official crossover thing. So like they're making Lego versions of the cars. There was a Lego car on stage.
I wasn't sure if this was like in the same vein as, oh, we have Lego Harry Potter, now we have
No.
Lego Forza.
Actually, speaking of which, there was also at the Microsoft conference, I forgot to make a note. I don't play them, but I know the Lego Star Wars games are huge.
I haven't played the newer ones. I played the original prequel trilogy ones together. I played those back on GameCube.
Well, so apparently they are putting out were those one game per trilogy, Freeman, or was there a game for each entry in the trilogy?
So, I think 1, 2, and 3 were individual, and then 4, 5, 6 were an entire game.
Because so what was announced was actually
like all
Lego
of them.
Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, and it's all 9 films. It's all the old games plus a new game wrapped in together into one massive Lego Star Wars package.
I'd actually consider buying that.
I know, that's why I brought it up.
Just because those games are fun. Like, even if you don't
I've
like
heard.
like I don't like the plot of Attack of the Clones, but I'll gladly play the Lego level based on it.
I've heard that the Lego games are pretty good if you like them, and so that's why I wanted to. The Lego thing made me think of that. Yeah, there's also this entire Lego Star Wars package, I guess. I was gonna try to think of how do you say 9 films, but
For anyone who wants like a good couch co-op game, this actually has really good co-op.
if only I could get
Just-
Val to play video
just
games.
I mean, it's a really easy game. It's like 3
That
buttons. It's
doesn't
move,
matter.
jump, and shoot.
the game
That doesn't
is
matter.
made for babus, Tim.
Don't say bad. It's made
that
for
doesn't-
6-year-olds.
That doesn't matter. Anyway, last thing we talked about a second ago, Scarlet. Project Scarlet, they had a whole hype video where crew members, like actual engineers at Microsoft, came on and were like, this thing's so powerful, blah, blah, blah. They also showed off a new Elite controller, which they've been teasing for over a year now.
Yeah, I thought they had announced it before, but I saw a lot of people doing hands-on videos with it today.
$180.
For one controller.
Yep. Gotta love it.
I want
This
one.
is-
I want one. Like I
Tim,
said, no.
It's $180.
Tyler, I understand. My issue is that my Elite controller that I have and love, the left trigger, has started catching sometimes. And, yep, there it goes. It just did it one time. I'm just sitting here clicking it. And yeah, you hear that?
Yeah. You'll just fix it.
Or just upgrade. I
Or
have had
just
this for
fix
years.
it.
I don't want to take this thing apart. I don't actually know if you can take this thing that apart. Anyway, regardless, it was just exciting because it's like, hey, we're going into this new generation. But they also talked about Project X. What was it called? Project X something. It's their streaming service basically, and they talked about Game Pass. Game Pass
Yeah, I
seems
was gonna
like
ask if
it's
you're talking about a video or a game streaming service.
so there's a streaming system that Microsoft is implementing. It's X something. But it's Microsoft like connecting all their game studios and game development together. But then they also talked about Game Pass, which is that Netflix for games, and that seems to be doing really well. Apparently for $15 a month. Hi Aiden, welcome to the podcast.
yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's okay, Aiden. Do you
Oh,
want to
I'm
stay
so
and talk
sorry.
about
You can
Microsoft
stick around
shit?
and listen to us
We're
talk about
talking about
E3.
E3.
Oh, fantastic! I'd love to.
We just finished the Microsoft conference.
Yeah,
I will.
I'll send you
Yeah.
a link to our notes so you know what we're on.
Yeah,
but-
I will just say real quick. Special guest Tyler's friend Aiden, everybody. Welcome to
Hello, internet.
Oh,
this is extremely awkward. I apologize.
it's fine. Don't worry
It's
about it.
perfectly fine. Now you're stuck here.
I was but Game Pass honestly seems like a sick deal if you want to play. Like honestly, Tyler, we should have waited for Crackdown 3 for the PC version of this, and just spent $15 and played Crackdown that way. We could have saved each other $45.
Yeah.
But
Or
if you play,
Just a whole $60 if we never bought.
oh yeah. But for people who play like any kind of new stuff, like so they announced Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is Game Pass for consoles, Game Pass for PC, and Gold for $15 a month. That's pretty good. If you think about it, you're paying for 4 of those months in a year go to Gold, because Gold is usually Gold is like 45 minimum. Or 3 months then, but 60 if you buy it full price, so 4 months. And then you're spending
year.
like what? 8 months, about $120 over the course of a year to play like 100 possible games and play the new stuff day it comes out. That honestly seems pretty good.
If I was in high school,
yeah,
just like GameFly, I would do it.
No, yeah, I mean, it's like if you don't have time to play games that much anymore, like me, I don't have time to play all these new games. But if you play games on the regular, this seems honestly like an amazing deal. Like,
It
actually.
seems like a fantastic deal to me, especially with all this stuff with all these streaming services coming out now.
Yeah. Do you remember
Stadia? And Stadia just looks atrocious with their model.
Looks not good.
Like $10 a month plus you have to pay full price for all their games. That's insane.
We'll jump to Stadia right now because I actually don't know much about Stadia. But
wait, hold on, I didn't hear that you still have to pay things. I thought it was just $10 a month.
No.
Oh, that's way worse than Microsoft. Then.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I thought it was a good model. This sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. All of the games on Stadia you have to pay full price for.
What?
So
then what's the point?
On top of their, I don't know. I mean, I think they're going after a very niche market. It seems like because the only it's cool having
the
that.
Market? Rich people?
I guess, but it's like I want to play on my tablet, but I want to play a 4K game. Like that's
the idea that you could open it in any device that supports Chrome.
Oh
yeah, exactly. Which, but I mean, it's like that.
But also,
I don't know.
Like, so it's basically catering to people who don't feel like being tied to a TV or PC, but have amazingly good internet.
So hold on. This is a very particular market that every game company's like, oh, we need to find that casual group that only plays Candy Crush on their smartphone and teach them about the magical world of gaming in your Chrome.
They're not gonna.
But they think that's a market they can capture.
Oh my god!
But it turns out that market doesn't give a shit, and the market that does give a shit isn't gonna do this.
So speaking of this, I forgot to mention. So as part of the Gears shit that we talked about a few minutes ago, they also had the trailer finally for the Gears Funko Pop thing. That's a mobile tower defense game or some shit.
What the fuck?
There's been word for a while now that Funko Pop was going to make a Gears of War Funko game.
What the hell?
It's like the Gears characters Funko models, but it's a game around this, and they showed it off, and it's just a mobile game.
Y'all got phones, right? Y'all have phones, don't you?
God damn.
I mean, we needed that chibi Gears, right?
I don't understand it. Gears is the first thing Funko Pop makes a video game out of. It's just the weirdest crossover.
I don't know. It's whoever was willing to pay for it, and
Funko
Gears like
Pops
we need advertisement.
Hold on,
are already bad.
But it's not worth talking. I just thought that was a hilarious crossover.
But because you brought up does anyone have mobile phones? Comment. I want to talk about the Blizzard leaks that happened before E3 started.
I genuinely want to know though, what is Stadia's release date?
It's holidays this year.
Okay.
It's November.
I'm woefully unprepared for this. Hold on. It says it's launching this year, but I don't see a date anywhere.
I'm just asking if you guys know off the top. We don't have to Google
confirm
it.
November.
Okay. Also, we forgot to actually say for Cyberpunk, release date is April 22nd next year. So everyone get ready.
I thought it was April 16th.
16th.
Sorry. I
said it at the beginning.
You know what? I'm crossing over. You're right, Tyler, and I'm crossing over a release date with something we're going to talk about later. That's not coming April 22nd, but it's coming the 22nd anyway. Blizzard leaks.
It doesn't matter. Cyberpunk.
So let's get away from E3 and go to fake E3 news.
This is pre-E3. I don't know why.
This is where I fall the fuck to sleep.
When you fall, this is important. So information leaked out of Blizzard. The first thing was that I guess it was kind of like a disgruntled developer talking about how they had been deep in working on a StarCraft first-person shooter that was nearing completion and it just got canceled. So this is now the second time a similar game. So anyone who knows about StarCraft Ghost, same kind of deal.
Yep.
They canceled a game that's pretty far in development. And they went out and said that Blizzard will cancel 80% of the games that are in development. Like they make so many games that the public just never hears about. And things like whatever the game that Overwatch was originally based
Titan.
from. That was the big one that everyone
Project
heard about, but no one heard about the 3 other MMOs they were working on the side.
Oh my god.
But that really doesn't matter because we're never going to see anything on the game. But the things that does matter is the guy confirmed that there were 2 other things in development at Blizzard that are probably going to be announced at BlizzCon. The first one he called Overwatch 2, but it sounds like this is just going to be like the PvE spinoff. So Jeff Kaplan has been on record saying that when they created the engine for Overwatch, it wasn't built to handle PvE events, and that's why they're kind of struggling to do them year to year. So part of what they're probably trying to do is change the engine to support like a Left 4 Dead style game.
Yep,
and
I'll
add
play that.
more PvE side of it. So
We know Tim.
Yep, play it. Yep, that's what I want. Yep, please.
Don't have to deal with real life opponents.
Yep.
Slam down my $60.
Yep.
I got a mobile phone.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna take place. It's again, this is all speculation. It's probably gonna take place in the universe. This is where the story is gonna expand from. I think this is going to negatively impact seasonal events in Overwatch, but at the same time,
I was going to say, does this mean they just kind of
whatever.
abandoned doing this kind of shit in Overwatch?
They'll probably just
Would
The first
anybody
kill-
be upset?
probably not. They're probably just going to kill the PvE events in Overwatch. Just keep doing the loot boxes because that's all anyone really gives a shit about. But that's happening in Overwatch. They did confirm that Diablo 4, a PC game, is in development. It sounds like the backlash about the mobile game was so big that the executives were like, "Holy shit, that entire franchise has like 0 mobile appeal. Like we got to get this back on PC."
I actually definitely don't think that's the case. There's no way they started development after last year. That seems impossible.
The rumors were that it was in development prior to BlizzCon, but now it's like they're like, all right, we got to get this off the ground. People are mad. It sounds like it's going to be a PR move to
but
show
phones,
off.
though.
But
Phones, though.
Yeah,
I'm more-
sorry. I don't think they're. I don't think they made a bad move with the mobile Diablo. It's just that where they presented it was not their target audience.
Also, the meme.
The East is gonna eat up mobile Diablo.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
like
gonna be a money maker,
the
right?
Asian market is gonna just eat that up. So it wasn't a bad idea. It's just like wrong place, wrong time.
Let's do it at BlizzCon, where everybody who pays us shit tons of money every year to play WoW and all these other games of ours, and probably put thousands into Overwatch, has a box copy of Diablo 2. Yeah, let's tell them that we're gonna do the mobile.
I mean, here's
version.
the thing. It's not bad that they're doing mobile, but to ignore the PC side and only talk about mobile is bad.
Well,
That's
also
where
at
it is. Like,
BlizzCon.
yeah,
The fact
it's about knowing your audience.
And it's
The fact that
knowing the audience.
Yeah, Diablo 4 should have come up at BlizzCon. Like this,
Especially when
like,
everybody's had a
that
hard
was the
on.
time to do it. Exactly. Like that was the audience looking for Diablo 4.
I bet
and you present them a mobile game.
I thought I remember hearing on like one of my podcasts or something that like they actually wanted to talk more about Diablo 4, but they ran into some hiccups or something for a little while leading up to BlizzCon. I don't know. I'm probably just talking out of my
I
ass.
also heard similar things. I don't know if that was like couldn't substantiate.
Either way, now we know Diablo 4 is coming, and I won't play it, but hey, it's cool that it exists. Oh, this is my god. This was also at the Microsoft conference. This was such a useless fucking. Oh look, a new Dragon Ball game. Wow.
So I had brought this one up a couple weeks ago because it was leaked that they were working on a new, essentially action RPG for Dragon Ball Z. And the last time we got an air quotes action RPG was Dragon Ball Sagas, and that game was ass. But people are speculating whether this is going to be more like, kind of like Legacy of Goku on the Game Boy Advance, but like with decent graphics. The problem I have going into this trailer was, what I liked was that they actually got the dub voice actors for the trailer before this game is close to release. The problem I have is, it's been like 20 years of playing the exact same plot line. Like seeing Goku go up against Nappa and Vegeta, I'm like, oh man, there's absolutely no surprise in who dies in this arc and who's gonna win. And then they just fucking show off the final boss fight versus Frieza and just spoil that Krillin dies in the trailer. Like,
wait,
you didn't know?
Wait, whoa! What do you mean Krillin just dies?
Krillin just dies. And then,
I didn't even get past the Raditz arc yet.
Dude, I'm still on the Red Ribbon Army arc from Dragon Ball.
Raditz?
Dragon Ball.
Human Farmer, my favorite character. Just up front.
Anyway, I'm getting tired of playing the same Dragon Ball Z plot lines, and it's like, even if this game looks great and it plays great, I'm at the stage in my life where I don't want to play that anymore.
Nope.
Even though this game does look pretty dope.
Can I? Okay, so here's a legitimate question. Freeman, I feel like you're the only one who would know. Are the Naruto games like this? Because that's the only anime franchise I can think of that has similarly millions of games.
Yep.
So no, like for a while the Naruto games were just like Budokai, where like the story didn't matter; it was just a 2D fighter. Then they had the Ultimate Ninja Storm series, which I think is like the big one for now. Each of those stories does a certain like block of the story at a time. So the first one only did part 1 of Naruto. The second game only had the next 200 episodes. The third one had the last 200. And then I think they're trying to do Boruto now. So each of the games has their own story block of the show. It doesn't try to cover everything.
Got it.
So it makes each of
So
them.
they actually do the
unique.
opposite.
Yeah, like I would go back and play Ninja Storm 2 because that story part was great, whereas Ninja Storm 3 sucked ass because I hate that part of the
Well,
story.
I was gonna say you can see the flip side though of why the guys who make the DBZ games wouldn't do it that way, because there's been so many different styles of DBZ game, and they're like, well, we don't want to do Dragon Ball Super with our sick new combat system. We want to cover everything with our sick new combat system and style. So
It also helps that, especially with the stories, there's like, if you take away the filler and just boil it down to number
real
of fights
quick.
that happen, there's like maybe 12 fights in Dragon Ball Z. Like, okay, I'm being low. Like 20 fights in Dragon Ball Z. So those are your 20 levels. You can do that any style you want in any game. But the problem is, it's for like newer Dragon Ball fans, it's gonna be great. But for someone who's played like Budokai 1, 2, and 3, it's just like retreading.
Any other game that
Yeah.
has the main Dragon Ball Z story, it's just who gives a fuck. And someone like me who's watched Dragon Ball Z like 2 or 3 times already.
yep.
I'm still watching through, what is it called, Dragon Ball Kai. I'm trying to like get through the Buu arc, but even abridged, I realized that arc is just not as good as I thought it was when I was a kid.
Well,
The
I
Buu-
mean,
No,
Boo
it
sucked. The Boo
Yeah.
arc was the worst arc,
Just
I
Boo
think,
isn't
personally.
even cool.
Like, I'm
The lead up,
Yeah.
the martial arts thing. I don't know. When
the martial arts
Videl
one is
gets
great, but like I'm at the
demolished.
part where they're fighting through the levels on his ship before Boo wakes up. I'm like,
Oh, come on, that's
Jesus Christ,
hilarious.
boy.
Where Vegeta's like, I want to be evil for power. Do you crave power?
okay,
Do
I'm
you
not
crave
like
power?
the Vegeta betrayal was great, but we're getting way off topic and way into the weeb shit.
Yep.
Way too early.
We
So
also
let's move
are
on
a
to
half
some
hour
Netflix
into the
shit.
podcast, and we're not even halfway down our E3
It's fine.
list.
There's no topic, so we're fine to ramble a bit.
All right, this I threw on here real quick, only because we've been playing Siege less lately, but we played a bunch of Siege together. Apparently at the Ubisoft conference, the only thing that I see on this entire list that anyone really cares about, they announced Rainbow Six Quarantine. The only reason this sounds neat is because they talked about how Siege is their PvP game, even though we don't really play that. But
Yeah, speak for
Quarantine,
yourself.
yeah, well, I know. Quarantine is 3-player co-op PvE. I didn't even get to watch the trailer or anything, but that's a cool. I want more co-op games. I'm always down for co-op.
That's cool, but like, did it have to be like zombie-esque kind of stuff
Is
though?
it zombies? I mean,
Yeah.
Quarantine
It's
the
like-
name.
Right? I thought we were talking about it.
Well, I know, but I didn't know if you'd actually seen the trailer. I believe that Aiden would have definitely watched the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you remember the Halloween event? It's like that, except made into an actual full mode.
So what you're saying is we should all buy Ghost Recon Wildlands and play that as our co-op game, because that game.
I'm
Oh.
not saying
That's
that.
a loaded
That's
comment.
not what I said.
What?
Wildlands, I don't believe was a good game.
Oh, okay.
Like the Ghost Recon franchise has just gone off the rails for me, I think. I think a lot of other people feel that way too. It's kind of inhabiting like a new form now, so I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Wildlands.
I just
stuff.
want more like high-end AAA games, because there's always all these little indie games that you could play co-op. I just love
Yeah.
playing co-op and like planning and strategizing together. That's why I love when we all play Siege together. But like, I just
What do
want
you mean? It's
more.
just four
Yeah,
idiots
like-
running through a map, just
Yeah, it's great.
shooting guns.
It's
There's
like
no
when we did
tactical
SWAT. It
movement.
was amazing. SWAT was the
What-
greatest.
What was that one game? Vegas 2. Why can't we go back to Vegas 2, except like 4-player co-op PvE Vegas 2?
Because only
Yeah.
you
With,
and
like,
Tyler
you know-
played Vegas too.
It's just like it felt like I want the more grounded Splinter Cell. That's what I'm looking for. Instead of the,
Well, I know
because
there
we
were
haven't
lots
seen
of.
Splinter Cell.
I was gonna say there was lots of leaks heading into E3 that there was talk of a Splinter Cell showing up.
And we sadly didn't see it.
Well, we also didn't see Fable at Microsoft, so
Because I was upset
True story.
because Blacklist, Splinter Cell Blacklist was really good.
what, the last one?
Yeah, that was the last
I honestly don't know the names. That's why I had to clarify.
Damn it. There's only two really good ones. Chaos Theory and and Blacklist.
Oh,
Those are my
fuck.
two favorites.
Freeman, can we kick up the Persona thing so that I can go get my charger for my phone that's at 1%? Because I want to
Damn.
talk about a bunch
Wait,
of the
you
next
don't
stuff.
want to hear me talk? The Persona thing's only like 30 seconds.
That's enough time for me to run downstairs. Just do the Persona
Alright.
stuff.
All right, cool. So we knew for a
I'll
while
be
there
right
was going to be a trailer for Persona 5 Royal at E3. So it came out, again, like with the DBZ one, I was not expecting to bring the dubcast in for this. But based on what we saw in the trailer, like, I know there's... So, for anyone who plays most of the Persona games, the story ends at Christmas. You start the game at the end of the school year in April, ends at Christmas. I know Persona 4, they add like another month somewhere in the middle. But apparently you get to play out the rest of the year in Persona 5, which is weird, because that's like another, like, essentially 50% of the game's month time added to the game. So they showed off a lot of different scenarios. I really don't know what the fuck they're going to do, because they said they're not changing the original story. So the big climax of the whole story is on like Christmas, and then there's 4 months of something else. So I'm genuinely curious if this means the game is going to be 50% longer with something even bigger at the end.
So is this like some DLC for Final Fantasy 15 type shit?
No, this is...
It's Persona 5 Definitive Edition is essentially what it is.
Pretty much. I don't know, because like with Persona 4, I don't know if I'd call Golden definitive, because a lot of people say like it isn't really necessary, whereas from what I'm seeing, like this looks like a fuck ton of content being added. Like with the DLC for Final Fantasy 15, all of those are kind of standalone, and you don't need to play them to say, I beat 15 and I know what happened. Whereas I might have to play through Persona 5 again, plus 50%. And I'm actually mad because I don't have time for this.
Freeman,
There's too
you
many
spent
games
so
this year.
many months and months. It's
It's
great.
fine. I can like skip a lot of the early cutscenes. I already know the whole plot line, but
I'm buying it.
yeah. I am too.
I'm fine.
Speaking
I
of
hate,
buying
I hate
it,
that I'm like this.
speaking of buying it, just earlier today, I took 15 minutes and watched the entire Doom Eternal presentation from the Bethesda conference, because who gives a fuck what else Bethesda had to talk about?
Fair enough.
Holy shit, this game is just more Doom again, and that's 1000%
That's all we
okay.
want, though.
It's perfect.
It's fine.
Did you watch this, Tyler?
No, I didn't watch it, but I saw the collector's edition though, and I'm
So
like, damn.
that's what I
helmet
was
is
when I
dope.
made that comment earlier. So actually, it's so funny. They talk about the collector's edition during the presentation, and they're like, the guy. Remember that the documentary from NoClip that I showed you guys way back when,
Oh yeah.
and
for
that
the
Hugo guy
head,
who's the
yeah.
creative director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was one of the two guys on stage, and they talk about that, and he's like, "Yo, look at this. You can wear this helmet," and the camera cuts to a guy in the crowd wearing the Doom Marine helmet already,
Oh.
and everybody just starts applauding. That's a wearable helmet, unlike the Master Chief lies from way back
Oh
when.
yeah. Damn, the Master Chief lies. Damn.
I'm so glad I didn't waste money on that shit when I was a
I
kid.
did.
Yep, mistakes were made. That's
I
when I
got
stopped.
it. Nope.
I bought the
I
Steelbook
liked it.
edition forever.
Nah, you know what? Well, so I'll tell you a story about my Halo 3
Oh no.
Steelbook.
Yeah, here we
My
go.
My Steelbook destroyed my CD, Aiden. It destroyed it.
Ruh-roh.
I couldn't use the damn thing. It scratched it up. And I couldn't read the disc anymore.
Oh.
But just so happened when that disc was broken, everybody forgot about the Legendary Edition, and it was like $70. I'm like, hell yeah. Came with a bunch of cool shit.
Okay.
I liked it.
Well,
Oh,
anyway.
I thought the story was gonna be a lot
It's
worse.
okay. It's okay.
Anyway,
No, it-
Doom.
What do you mean? No, you're not supposed to use that Steelbook case. I threw it out.
Oh my god. Anyway, Doom Eternal looks fucking awesome. Tyler,
man.
I know you didn't watch it. Looking at the gameplay, I'm honestly pretty sure every single gun has had a makeover and either functions differently or at least looks differently. Like every gun didn't look the same, but a lot of them function similarly. Like there's a plasma rifle, but it looks like the original plasma rifle, like from old Doom. It's fucking
it's great.
wacky.
See, I feel like I don't need to see it because I'm gonna have
I
confidence
totally
in
agree.
id.
Tyler,
They're gonna get, you know.
This only looks like it's totally worth it. It looks like they've expanded. There actually looks like there's a lot more platforming now, but it also looks like you have like, Aiden, it sounds like you watched it, almost like a jetpack, because there's a lot of double jumping going on and like almost floating going on in some parts.
Yeah, there's like grappling hooks now and
There's like
jetpacks and all sorts of
the
crazy shit.
grappling hook.
Tyler,
So
there's
an early
there's
gameplay
legitimate
footage.
there's legitimate part in the gameplay where it looks like they like jump 5 times in the air between platforms, and there's also like like, you know how in games like Uncharted where you grab like a ledge, like a bunch of vines, and it's like a climbable wall, or in like Lara Croft or something? It looks like they have things like that now, where they have like climbable sides so that you don't always have to do short ledges to jump onto. There's definitely more platforming, and they kind of showed what the shoulder thing is. It looks like the shoulder thing is basically just a little like power-up thing where it just shoots like a little rocket on the ground that then detonates when someone comes near it, or a little burst of flame. And there's like, because you saw the HUD, they actually showed us what the HUD looks like right now. And there's definitely a lot more going on that fucking HUD than there was before. Wow, was there a lot. It looks great though. I mean, they show a guy grapple hook onto one of the Kako demons, swing around, kill it with the shotgun, and then land and also kill an imp with the shotgun. There's lots of new enemies, tons of new shit.
It's just more Doom, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's literally just more Doom.
And last thing, it's on Earth, Mars, and you're jumping around the galaxy.
Oh, all right.
Apparently, so they said on stage, you go to heaven, hell, and the homeworld of something called the Sentinels.
The Forerunner?
I know. But anyway, also, last thing about Doom. This is the release date I was thinking of. November 22nd this year, Doom Eternal. Can't wait. Can't
say that date one more time.
November 22nd.
Jesus Christ, November's stacked.
With
November's stacked, yo.
What
it's
else?
gonna be great. We got Pokemon. We got Death Stranding. What do you mean,
I only care about Doom out of that list.
We'll make you care.
Hey, I'm fine with it, but
I
also,
don't have to make care. It's whatever.
Don't worry, this game isn't coming out for a long time. So, at the Microsoft conference again, lo and behold, everybody's well-kept secret, Germ and From Software, Elden Ring.
You just call him Germ?
Germ, Grrm. I've heard people say that before.
I've seen people type it before. I haven't heard them pronounce it like that before.
George R.R. Martin and From Software working together on something called the Elden Ring, and it looks like a creepy fucking new Dark Souls that's apparently an open world game.
All right, now time out. Now,
I'm buying it.
For the audience.
I didn't buy Sekiro yet. I will buy this day one.
So you mean to tell me that George R.R. Martin instead?
Oh, fuck off. We're not doing this. No.
Are you serious? No. We're going to talk about this. This is a problem.
Tyler,
this
look.
bothers me.
He doesn't give a shit.
No.
It's
Tim,
fine.
look. Tim, you look, all right? I'm getting sick of this bullshit.
What bullshit? He doesn't. He cares as much as the actual people do. Like, who actually gives a shit about the books?
There are people who care now.
Yeah. What fraction of them are left after the show?
A decent amount.
There's actually not enough to earn money. Easier to get a paycheck working on a cool new thing with From.
You know, I'm boycotting that shit.
All right.
Damn.
Well, me and Aiden will buy it. You bought Sekiro.
I'll buy your copy for you.
You bought
That's
Sekiro,
fine.
Tyler. I'll buy this.
Okay.
Like, this sounds sick. An open world with Dark Souls-y mechanics seems, and the whole aesthetic seems
still
awesome.
Bothered. It just it shouldn't bother me honestly, but it just does.
Yep,
Like,
and that's fine.
It's just a scummy thing. I feel like
I don't think it's scummy at all.
Why?
Why does he owe you books?
I know it's his thing. He doesn't owe me books. It's just like, I don't know.
Well, that if he doesn't owe it to you, then how is it scummy?
It just feels bad.
You've written D&D campaigns and stuff. How much does it feel good to write a new thing and come back recharged?
What do you mean?
Like, to be deep into writing something and either hit a block or just want to express yourself creatively with something else and go do it and come back and feel like you're re-energized and ready and have new ideas to take on your stuff.
I haven't
Hold
felt
on.
that way.
I'd give him
I know
that
it's a little
benefit
audacious.
if he hadn't spent so much time already not working on the shit he had writer's block on.
I
Like-
mean,
Yeah,
sure, but
he's been away from this project for years. You think he was actually helping writing this show? He wasn't.
No, he was writing the lore of Fire and Ice book or whatever. 'cause
I mean,
he
if you
can't write
read
the plot
him,
line, so he'd
if
rather
you-
just write the backstory.
I mean, if you see what he's said in interviews, he was doing like he's like executive producer or some kind of consultant on like the 4 spin-offs HBO is working on, and
So how is that
working on the
walking
comics
away?
and all, walking away from.
Because you
What?
said it's good to walk away and like do
I
something
meant
else,
like
but
walk
why
away from.
didn't he?
But he's just consulting with ideas. I mean, like actually writing. This is writing a new thing. Like, and also, if you're working on this much Game of Thrones shit, wouldn't it be nice to take a break from Game of Thrones in your time?
And I'm saying he hasn't. I'm saying he truly hasn't.
How? What?
I think he makes appearances. I think he shows up to the. I mean, I don't know anything.
So you're saying you don't believe
technically.
he's been helping at all on Game of Thrones stuff?
I think he goes in and says, "Oh, yep, this guy would do this," and that's about it.
So
I-
my take is that he's trying to distance himself from working on the book to get more ideas, but he's not doing but he's so immersed in everything else going on with Thrones, he doesn't separate himself enough to actually meaningfully distance at all from writing the books. So he's just stagnating by doing this. And again, this is an
Yeah.
outsider's perspective. I don't know the man.
Look,
I'm just
I don't
guessing.
think this. Look, this is so off topic though. This isn't about George. This is about the
It's
sick
just
looking
'cause
game.
You guys don't want to let me talk about my Japanese games.
Yeah, you don't want to talk
Alright,
about
listen.
yeah.
The
Hidetaka
whole
Miyazaki
we're about to start talking
and
about
George R. R.
Japanese shit.
Martin.
For like
I
an
know,
hour.
I'm just fucking
This
with
is
you.
fantastic. This is going to be great. It's going to be a
Yes.
good game, no matter how you feel about George R. R. Martin and his willingness or unwillingness to finish his books is irrelevant.
It's probably
I'm gonna
be a
buy
quality
this game.
Look,
I'm gonna pre-order it the second it's available.
Even if it's not
because
irrelevant?
I love From Software.
Even if you're
They're
Tyler and
fantastic.
it's not irrelevant, I agree, Aiden. I think this game is going to really. I'm very excited because, like I said, I'm still intimidated by going to play Sekiro. Like I just something about it.
'Cause
I
you a
don't.
Bitch.
I know. I accept
says Tyler. Where are you at, Tyler?
I'm stuck, dude. I'm on. The... I'm not afraid to admit it, man. I'm not afraid. At least I tried.
this. Oh my
Fair
god.
enough.
Trying.
I'll wait till it's out, like the full edition of Sekiro, because that happens with every Dark Souls
Never
game.
even gonna
Yeah, the
try.
definitive edition comes out.
You ain't even gonna try.
Right around
Yeah.
the time it gets ported to Switch, that's when you know it's time to
Tyler,
get
I've been
first
playing
person
Pokemon
console.
lately. I don't have time to play anything else.
Yeah, a real Babu's game. playing the
Oh
watered-down
my
Babu
god, you're
shit.
the one hyped for the new
Oh,
Pokemon.
God, Tyler.
Anyway,
I am, but
that
I realize it's for Babu's.
Oh my god.
It's always been Tyler. It's always been for Baboos. What?
Anyway,
When someone tells me like you're still playing Pokemon, it's for kids, I look and I go, yes, yes, it is. It says
Yeah.
on the box.
It does say
anyway,
it on the box.
Elden Ring looks hype. That girl in the trailer putting her arm on, like an armored arm thing. Spear
Yeah,
dude.
prosthetic.
It looks
we
pretty
see where
sick.
we know where they got that idea from.
Well, yeah.
Sekiro.
Speaking of Japan though, because Freeman's very eager to go over the water for a while.
All right, so this one, I really did not give 2 shits about Shenmue 3 when they announced the Kickstarter. I am looking to play 1 and 2, just I know they released on Steam. But the big controversy of the moment, and this ties into the whole Epic Games Store fiasco, is that Shenmue 3, the Kickstarter sent an email last month asking people to confirm: do you want your PS4 copy or do you want a Steam key? Please pick one. And everyone who picked Steam key actually got fucked because they announced that Shenmue 3 is going to be Epic Games Store exclusive. So
Damn.
Yeah,
well,
this is
they did.
unacceptable.
This
This
is-
is absolutely unacceptable.
a lot of the backers are pissed, justifiably, and they want refunds. And the developers came out today and said, no, we're not offering refunds. Like, we did not promise you that it would be on Steam. We just promised the game.
Damn, that's dirty.
So everyone's
That's actually dirty.
so the problem is it's hard to request a chargeback because Kickstarter isn't acknowledging this as a problem yet. And it's hard to do a what's it called? Where you like void a transaction.
Chargeback.
It's hard to do a chargeback on something you backed 3 years ago. Like your bank probably won't do it. So it's a rough situation where everyone's mad and there's no easy way to resolve this, and they kind of just want Kickstarter to step in and like lay down the law. Because
Which they can't.
I
can't
think
really
they
do
have to.
anything.
They have to say something though.
well, they at
Like
least have
they're
to
gonna
define, like,
they're gonna
what-
need
what
to enforce
part of-
rules.
Like
not
right now,
gonna-
like Kickstarter, they say like they're not really promising anything, but they need to define like what are you actually promising versus what are you potentially promising. Like if you go in and you say like one of the things was that there was a limited like you could pay more for a physical edition of the game, and then they also announced that since you already locked in for your physical copy, the physical copy is just a box that has a code to download it from the Epic Game Store. So now everyone's even more mad because they're skirting around what they had originally promised, which was a just true physical copy of the game.
Honestly,
this
I mean, well, I mean that's not really crazy though. That's what a lot of. I mean, hell, I remember when I bought Rage and it was just a code. It was a CD that like did an like it was an installer for Steam on a CD. That's not a new concept. I mean, it sucks for a Kickstarter, but that's not physical copies that don't mean anything. Has not. That's been the case for a long time now.
Yeah.
Point is, everyone feels betrayed,
That's
and
and
they're
fair.
rightfully
completely
so.
justified.
This is a problem, and it's going to become more of a problem, especially with the prevalence of the Epic Game Store getting exclusives. And like
The fact that it's
these
becoming a talking
backtracking-
point.
yeah, this backtracking is a real issue.
Well, the fact that it's a talking point of people going, our game will be an Epic Games exclusive, or our game won't be. The fact that people are starting to sell, like, indie games are starting to be like, I am not on the exclusive Epic Games Store, so I am also morally high ground now.
Or like
Buy my
Cyberpunk
game.
getting praise for having a delayed release on Epic Game Store just to prove a point.
That's fine. Fuck them. But it's also coming to
like,
other
I thought it
stores.
was hilarious.
Yeah. But that's how you do
and
it
how
because they're...
Metro Exodus. How Metro
Oh, yeah, I
Exodus
told
is
you
like,
guys this.
Oh yeah.
No.
we're not-
No. It's because you know why though? It's because of Game Pass. They got it for Game Pass, and now that there's a PC Game Pass, they have to put it on the Microsoft Store.
Damn,
I bet that's
destroyed.
how it works. I bet that's how they snuck it in. But now Metro Exodus is on the Microsoft Store, so now
Yeah, there
maybe
was
I'll
some
finally play it.
speculation. There's some speculation that Epic's was literally just part of your contract that you can release anywhere but Steam, and that particular scenario was leading to that conclusion. But I don't think that's quite right. It's probably some other legal issue they had where like we have to be on the Microsoft Store. Like there's no negotiating. Can we still also have whatever this fucking deal is?
All I know
That's
is
probably
this
what
is a really frustrating issue because you can understand the people who are like, it is just a launcher, but it's not so much about the fact that it's Epic. It's the fact that they used the word Steam and people bought it with the word Steam in mind. It does feel like false advertising.
Yeah. Well, it's like Metro Exodus boxed editions shipping with the Steam logo covered with stickers with the Epic Game Store. Like
At the very least, though,
it's-
Metro
that's-
honored the pre-orders
bad.
on Steam.
that's fine.
That was at least
my-
the best way to do it. This of like, hey, we told you a week ago you'd get Steam keys, and now we're announcing that you're not going to get Steam keys. If they used the word Steam anywhere on that original pitch, then it is probably kind of some kind of false advertising.
Like
it 100% is that is 100% false advertising. 100%. I don't even think that's an argument.
All I know is Shenmue 3 has eaten up so much fucking money between Kickstarter and Sony and now Epic, and somehow, all accounts, the trailer doesn't actually look that good.
yeah,
Nah,
the
it looks
developers
like a
aren't that
PS2
great.
Yeah, get got Shenmue 3 back. Get got.
Like this
Honestly,
game... Go ahead. Aiden.
the biggest thing I have a problem with this whole thing is like this is just hurting actual projects from Kickstarter.
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
because now everybody's just going to be more skeptical.
Who's ever
going
gonna
to
trust Kickstarter now?
projects? Exactly, because it's like, oh well, all of these other projects said you're going to get these things, and then at the end of the day, you told us to screw off, and once you got a publisher or somebody else involved, they gave you money.
It's like Shenmue.
Like
Nah, dude,
like the
it's
whole,
fine.
Phoenix
'Cause
Point was another one
Just,
where it's
just
like,
like
they were
the other games, it's gonna dip, and then Kickstarters are gonna come back again. Because
I mean,
everybody's
maybe.
gonna forget. They're all gonna
I
forget.
don't think so. The frequency with this stuff is starting to happen. I don't know if people are gonna like. It's always gonna be in the back of their heads, I think.
I hate this because every Kickstarter I've supported so far, it's like 4 or 5 of them. They've all like promised on their initial goals. Like my favorite one was when the anime community came together. Like, fuck it, this show in its 6 seasons never got released in the US. Let's just dub the whole thing. And it got us for the entire series. Like I have half the Blu-rays in my room now because they're still releasing them. Like every couple months I'll get something from Kickstarter. I'm like, what the fuck is it? I'm like, oh, it's another Blu-ray from the show I haven't watched yet. But it's like some of these are legitimately great, and this is like unless Kickstarter lays down the law about this, they're hurting
won't.
their own platform's legitimacy
Exactly.
outside of video games and whatnot.
Staying in Japan though. Let's go.
All right,
Shenmue.
Square Enix had their E3 conference last night. I think it was like 9 p.m. our time. And of course, all eyes were on Final Fantasy VII Remake because this is their opportunity to like potentially give us a release date. I don't know, and they did. We're getting it March 3rd, 2020. So right before all the big April release start, everyone can run through Final Fantasy VII.
Just hold on, real quick. Is this the full game or the episodic thing?
It's
So,
still episodic.
It's
As
still
far.
episodic, but
Perfect.
it sounds like they're not doing 3 parts. So from the trailer,
Oh my
it's
God.
going to have all of the Midgar section. That part is going to be like, in their words, it's expanded. This is not a one-for-one retelling. They said this is a reimagining of the story of Final Fantasy VII. So they are going to change some aspects of it. But the very end of the trailer, they show Cloud kind of like almost being haunted by Sephiroth. But everyone pointed out it takes place in his hometown of Niflheim, which is like shortly after they leave Midgar. So like roughly the halfway point of Final Fantasy VII is when it looks like it might lead up to. So they did say they're split into 2 parts. The first game we're getting in March is across 2 Blu-rays.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Wait.
fucking space.
Wait, but you don't go to you go to Niflheim after Midgar.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't halfway through the game. That's like not even a quarter of the way through the game.
When does
Nani?
disc 1 end in
This
Final
one
Fantasy VII?
ends with Eris dying.
Then
Spoilers.
disc 2 was like kind of. You're right.
Oh my God! How could you do that,
Dude,
Tyler?
how do
Yeah,
you
I know,
spoil this
right?
brand new Final Fantasy for all
This
of our
brand
listeners?
new Final Fantasy game for everybody. Now, what disc 2 ends back in Midgar. Midgard.
No, doesn't disc
yeah.
2 end like disc 3 only really
No,
has like
'cause
the
you
final
fight-
area on it, right?
Yeah, no, disc 2 you go back and you fight the scientist for the last time.
Yeah.
And in the Shinra building. That was
But then
that's when Diamond Weapon's walking towards Midgard.
yeah, but then immediately after that, isn't like right after that just when you go deal with Sephiroth?
Yeah, you go into the mountain. You
Time
got to
go
go
back
all
to
the way
Pokemon.
down.
I don't know. What I think they're trying to do is they might be saving the open world stuff for entirely the second disc. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. They didn't show up enough about this. But the entire early part, they were like hyping up, oh, we're finally gonna see Tifa in this game, and the director's like, maybe, I don't know. And he's smirking at the viewers all the time. So they have this one English guy who works for Square Enix, and then the actual original director of Final Fantasy VII talking about what they were doing. And then they start finally talking about what the combat system for this game is. And when it first starts off, they have Cloud just like, slashing around. It looks like it's Final Fantasy 15 action RPG. But then the English presenter said like the cheesiest fucking thing I've ever heard at E3. He's like, Cloud's pretty good, but these attacks aren't doing much damage. He needs something more. He needs ATB. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So they showed off that as you're fighting, there are ATB bars, and when your bar fills
What's
up,
ATB?
the game active time battle. It's
Thank
the same
you.
system we've had from Final Fantasies 4 through 9.
You should already know.
4 through 10.
Tim.
I
had
have never played a
ATB in
Final
it.
Fantasy game.
Yeah,
You should.
already
They're all
know.
pretty good. Some of them are pretty okay.
Freeman, I've watched Spoonie
Better.
before. I know how some of these things
Okay,
are.
most of the ones that have ATB are pretty good.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VIII sucks. 4, 7, and arguably 10 are good. So, so
10
anyway,
is turn-based.
you're right. Actually, no, you're right. Except there's, God damn it. So they show off the combat system, and when your ATB fills up, suddenly the game will pause, and it reminded me of in Final Fantasy 15. You can have like control mode where when you're not moving, the game will pause. You don't have to like panic. But there's actual reason for it. So it'll pause, and then now your menu opens up, and all of like the normal commands, like all your magic shit, all your abilities, all the stuff that normally happen when your ATB bar filled in Final Fantasy 7, that's when you get to pick it. And then you can rotate through characters as their ATB gauge is up. So you're kind of half playing an action RPG until you fill your gauge, and then you're back to playing what essentially amounts to, your turn-based ATB Final Fantasy 7. And it kind of solves the issue that I had with 15 and 13, where you only control one character. With this, you're swapping around characters on the battlefield. And I think this is finally Square's answer for how do we give people an action RPG that isn't just like button mash. Like they finally found a way to merge the fast pacedness of the Kingdom Hearts battle system, but get rid of the frustration of trying to navigate a menu during a live action game.
I think it looks pretty good. They're gonna need to implement it properly though. That's my only, because like they showed a lot of the low level enemies and they're just hacking through them. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I mean, it looks like Kingdom Hearts. Like, just
Yeah.
I mean,
mash
like-
that X button, and
I
then
mean,
when
you
you get the
play-
prompt, press the other button.
I mean, you go back and play Final Fantasy VII. A lot of fights are just like, just press attack. Don't worry about magic because it's just like low level grunts.
That's true, and that's a fair point. I think it's very interesting. I think they took the best aspects of the last couple Final Fantasies for their combat. Like they have the stagger bar back from 13 now too.
Yeah.
And I think that's all really cool. It looks like they're actually trying to innovate their combat system now instead of hold
They
R2
just
attack.
Yeah, this feels like a
threw
real
a
experiment.
bunch of shit together from all the other games and threw them in.
I'm
And
really
actually
hoping
a
it
little bit
works though.
more- Yeah, so I'm a little bit more interested than I was the last time they showed some gameplay footage, honestly.
Well, here's what's going to make you actually interested. So they go and they're like, "That's all we have to show for Final Fantasy VII." Oh wait, what's this? Another trailer? And they start showing this new cinematic trailer. It looks really good. It looks really fucking good. They show you the exact opening scene of Aerith looking up and then zooming out on the entire like Midgard before Avalanche does their shit. It looks great, and then bam, they show us Tifa's slight redesign, and everyone was very concerned that she was completely overhauled. She was way too sexy looking in Final Fantasy VII, and they came up with a pretty good compromise. She still retains almost the entirety of her original character design, but at the same time, not as revealing. So I think we avoided the controversy from both ends here. All I can say is she's still waifu.
No,
She's
I
still
actually
Bae.
didn't. Yeah. No, is she? Yeah, no, she's still Bae.
She's still Bae. She's
Of
still doing the
course.
party 100% of the time.
She was always Bae.
She's more
She never
Bae.
stops.
She's Bae, but she ain't like waifu. No,
No, she's waifu.
nah, she's waifu.
This is a dumb fucking discussion we're having.
I'll say
Anyway.
Eris is like, oh, your
Aerith.
friend died.
Oh, they can. She's actually Aerith now, so
Oh, is it? Oh, is it actual Eris?
yeah,
yeah.
they put their foot down on the translation. Anyway, let's just rapid fire through the rest of Square Enix
Dang, she
shit.
got legs
Doesn't
for
matter.
days in this fucking new shit. I didn't realize
Legs for days.
Hell yeah,
Damn.
dude!
that. God damn, hell yeah.
I want her to beat me up. Anyway,
That's what I'm saying.
so they showed it prior to
Hit me
E3 and
with
they
that
repeated
slot machine, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my god.
Anyway, so prior to E3, they showed off this Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC trailer they repeated during their E3 presentation. This was so every other trailer where they had actual voice actors for it got me way too used to real production quality for these trailers, because this was just characters on screen with like large block characters with describing what they're saying, and it was the most convoluted shit. Like a dude in a coat walks up and says, "Don't you like wearing your coat?" And he's like, "Yes, it feels dark." And then they cut over to two other guys. There's one dude from the secret ending who, you know, he has a secret identity. And one dude goes, "Wait, who are you really?" And he goes, "Who am I? Who are you really?" And the camera zooms in this other guy who we didn't think had a secret identity. And now we're sitting there like, well, what the fuck is his secret identity? And then they just show off minor little bits of gameplay where I guess like you now can control Aqua in one part, you can control Roxas in another. Then they showed Sora using one of the Keyblades he didn't have in the game. And this was the most underwhelming DLC trailer I've ever seen.
Jesus.
And I'm not excited for it to come out like next year.
Yeah,
I think, like-
especially since all of the footage they showed was like from the last 2 levels of Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's just
Yeah, it looks
Disney had
pretty
such a
bad.
Disney had such a death grip. They can't do anything outside of their like original world and character. It
Yikes.
really sucks. I'm pissed. This is what Kingdom Hearts became.
Yeah, well, you know what the biggest problem with Kingdom Hearts was? They stopped, like, it became too Disney and not enough Final Fantasy. That's my
Disney.
biggest issue with it.
So we talked about this in the previous episode, but basically, just Disney didn't want them mixing Final Fantasy, and it became like the Disney worlds have to stay Disney worlds. Like, don't even put your original villains in. Also, don't use our villains because then it's not canon anymore. Like, I don't want to go too into it. We still have to move through a lot of shit here. Anyway, they showed off Onikani, a game it got announced previously at one of the Nintendo Directs. It's really like aesthetic action RPG thing coming for Switch. They showed off a full trailer. It looks really fun. I don't know if they put a release date, but I'm totally getting that day one. It looks really cool. Then they started announcing, the the remaster apocalypse. First of all, it was Final Fantasy VIII, the game they claimed they couldn't remaster because they lost the source code. Somehow they're remastering this game, and it looks decent, and it's coming to Switch.
I
When I say
couldn't tell.
when I say it looks
Oh.
decent, I don't mean gameplay-wise. I mean like people's faces aren't pixelated anymore. You can actually see the characters. So like they brought it up to like the standard of 480p gaming as opposed to the standard of
Oh my god.
like 144p gaming.
These guys have families, guys. Come on.
That's fine. You know, at the very least, what I would have liked to see is if they were gonna do this remaster for Final Fantasy VIII, I would have preferred to see something like the Resident Evil 1 remake, where it's like it's still essentially the same game, but it's like you redid all of the character models in actual, like, you know, they're actual character models instead of like just however many 100 polygons you had in the original game. Like, you know, it like was actually an HD remake that they did with the original Resident Evil. And I would have preferred that over what we got. And it's like, cool, you got the original music back in there and whatever, and you have all it's quote unquote remastered, like, you know, the text is cleaner looking, I guess, but
Yeah, the Square remasters have been kind of but they did announce some other games that haven't been remastered yet. So they announced that Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is going to get remastered for Switch, and then also a game I never thought I'd hear again, Last Remnant is also getting remastered on Nintendo Switch.
I'm excited about that. I never got to play Last Remnant, and I actually already bought it on Switch, so
I'm hoping so I know a lot of people were concerned about it. It had kind of the Final Fantasy VIII problem where leveling up didn't do anything. So if you leveled up too much, it just made the end of the game way harder. So I'm hoping with the remaster they tweak some of the difficulty aspects of it to make that part better. That's how I'm excited to actually play it, because I didn't get a chance to play it the first time around. And then the last thing Square Enix had was I was excited going into this when they showed up
I saw the trailer for this.
And we're now gonna reach an era where anytime someone tries to make a Marvel property and it doesn't it's supposed to intentionally not look like the MCU, it's gonna feel like it's fake. That's just the way it is right now. Like watching fake Tony Stark.
That's just the way it is.
Damn, Tyler, that's my joke.
I mean, they got a pretty good voice cast for doing the whole thing, but like,
yeah, it's an all-star voice cast. It's a D-tier look cast.
Yeah, it just doesn't look that great.
I mean, Riot Captain America.
Look, man, how much money do I have to pay someone to get me like a decent Iron Man-esque game that isn't Anthem?
How is it possible that Iron Man
they
has
made one.
Like? Why does Iron Man's mask?
I said decent.
Okay.
Damn.
Did who watched the trailer? Did all of you?
yep.
Yeah,
Ian
and I watched it together.
Okay,
yesterday.
am I crazy, or does Iron Man's like mask look really, really weird? Like it looks like he's trying to do like an emote face or something.
Oh, I was about to comment on
like the
Thor's
actual mask
outfit.
itself?
I mean, Thor looks pretty dumb too, but Tony's
Thor
face
looked fine.
bugs the shit out of me.
I mean, honestly, out of everything they showed, the character models were the thing I had the least problem with. They showed
there was a
no
lot.
gameplay.
Oh yeah,
They were so it seemed like they were scared to show gameplay, honestly.
I mean, there was like
They're
a
like,
little
"Hey."
shot,
Go play it in our demo room.
but there was the shot of like Hulk jumping across a hole in the bridge and like grabbing a tank and flipping a guy out, and it's like, is that gameplay? I can't tell if that's gameplay.
See, that was okay. That
like
yeah,
it
that's
could be
the nail on
cinematic,
the
it could be not.
It looked very cinematic because like most of the things that you saw were like, there's no way this is gameplay. At the most, this could be a QTE segment. And that's pretty much all they showed us. And then like Black Widow running across the bridge and like, you know.
Yeah.
What are the odds that Cap's actually dead?
I mean, considering he's a
Cap's
playable character, I
actually
doubt it.
dead.
Unlikely.
I like how
And they
there
just-
are like, 5 playable characters right off the bat. It's like, yo, you just showed us Cap dead.
Yeah,
I mean, it's implying he's not dead, but
well, no, it's implied that he is because they have the statue to him being dead and everything like that.
They're
Well,
like,
what was the-
we
but the-
failed him.
Yeah,
but then the
We
hammer
failed
starts
him.
moving at the end. So what does that mean?
that's Thor. Because that cuts to Thor them all being back in action to like stop the new threat or whatever. I didn't get the impression that was
It
trying
doesn't
to
actually
say.
fly to him. It cuts away to an unrelated scene of Thor. So I don't know. You're right. That might just be what it is. All right, fuck it. This game sucks. Let's not play this.
Yeah,
we
and
didn't have
the whole live action or the live service aspect that they seem to
Is
be
there
taking with it is
really?
just a huge turnoff.
Yeah,
That's
you
what it
didn't
seemed to
hear.
me because they were
Oh,
like,
man.
"Oh, all of the new characters and zones are all gonna be free, and we're not gonna have loot boxes or pay to win."
And
They
we're
didn't say there
talking-
were no
Yeah.
We're
microtransactions.
talking around this really hard.
But everybody in the room was like, eh.
I mean, I guess they're just moving away from the aspect of like randomized loot. Now it's gonna be straight up buy this thing for $2.
Exactly.
We're getting back
Which-
towards that service model.
We're getting back to the thing with Apple. $999. Cut the feed. Cut the feed. Go. Let's stay across in Japan for the rest of this podcast. Basically, why not? Fuck it.
Might as well. God damn it! I was gonna be so excited going into the Pokemon one, but this new news has killed
Yeah,
everything.
I fucking
So,
killed it. Nice.
Take one. No, it's not. You take one look at the Pokemon subreddit, and everyone's fucking losing their minds. We went from gotta catch them all to gotta catch some of them. So I'll start with the good news first. At the Nintendo Direct last week, they showed off a lot of stuff about the game, including their new replacement for the Z Moves Mega Evolution, which was Dynamaxing. Looks kind of stupid. They're bringing back gyms, which said during last week's episode I really wanted to see them do. So gyms are back. That's the whole stadium thing I was talking about. They showed off a couple new Pokemon. All of them look really cool. The new bird looks insane. It's like this Dark Knight bird. I was very
Shut the fuck up, Tyler.
satisfied with what I saw going into last week. And then today they didn't have too many more details to show off. They just showed what the water gym leaders are going to look like. They said there was a playable demo at E3. At the demo, there were 2 new Pokemon that people were able to catch. One is this like fucking weird looking imp thing. And the other one is the Pokemon everyone was speculating on, the Corgi Pokemon. So it's an electric dog, and it's got this cool ability. If it's not already holding an item, if you throw a Pokeball at like something you're trying to catch and it doesn't catch, his ability retrieves the Pokeball.
Oh.
I think that's
Oh.
a cool ability. But all of my hype was killed when they announced that because fucking Game Freak is so bad at developing these games, they couldn't get all of the Pokemon into the game. So you can't transfer anything that's not on the cartridge into the game. If a Pokemon doesn't exist in this generation, you can't transfer it in, which defeats the whole purpose of this Pokemon Bank app or Pokemon Home app they put out,
Yeah, Aiden,
where you're now able to you're now able to one-way
this.
transfer your Pokemon from earlier gens into this app, and then they can't go anywhere because Sword and Shield can't receive them. So I'm going to upload all my Pokemon, and now they're held hostage on an app. Because I can't use them on any other game.
Yeah, Aiden. So right before we started recording, I found this headline and showed it to Friedman, and it kind of tainted this entire podcast.
No, I didn't. This is a good discussion.
This is absolute horseshit. So like I've been complaining about this since Pokemon X and Y, but the reason X and Y took so long to come out was they said we wanted to make future-proof 3D models for all Pokemon. So that way all we do is up the poly count and the model stays the same any game we go to. That's why every Pokemon moves and looks identical in XY, and Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Let's Go. They use the exact same character models, which is why when they made that shitty decision of all flying Pokemon did this hovering animation in X and Y, they're stuck with that for the rest of time. Because they said, we're not going to do new models because it's so easy to port these forward. Their words, so easy to port these forward. And now they're saying they can't.
Honestly,
livid.
No, this I understand your rage because like that's the whole point of Pokemon, right? You gotta get them all, get all the Pokemon.
And now they're saying we can only
I'm
get
curious,
some.
I'm curious if they're trying to use this as a hard reset because they realize that they have way too many Pokemon now.
No, they can't.
But
They
They
already
couldn't
did
justify
that.
the app. They couldn't.
But they already did. Yeah, they already did that with X and Y and threw the app in, and it's just like, oh.
So here's
Now you're
the
saying-
thing. We were discussing last week whether you can have a new game with no new Pokemon. The thing is, regardless of what your new count is, every game has 2 real challenges. It's catch all the Pokemon in the game, and there's always a set that you can't catch in the game. There's ones that you have from other games, and that's generally your collection. And since the year 2003, that statement's been true. They are always part of your collection, and you'll always have them. That's never not been true. Even when I went to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the challenge in that game is only catch the ones on the cartridges. You can transfer others in, and that's fine and dandy, but that's not the objective of that game. I don't think having over 1,000 kills the gotta catch them all aspect. In fact, having so many out there is cool. It means there's always something new to catch.
Oh no, yeah, that's great. I think that like that would be fantastic if they had all of them available in the game. It's just I can't fathom why they would do this.
So I remember when Let's Go came out, everyone noticed that the second there was more than one Pokemon on screen, the whole thing would lag to shit, even though it was the Switch. And everyone's like, "What's the deal here?" The general consensus is that Game Freak has never actually been that great developers.
No.
Ever since Diamond and Pearl, they've just been reusing that same engine modified because they don't want to learn how to do anything else.
Surprise Pikachu.
And they had to like transfer. They had to transfer from other Nintendo studios into Game Freak to like teach them how to optimize for Switch for Sword and Shield.
Yeah,
And it's
because if it was up
becoming
to
very
them, they
apparent.
would still be on the 3DS.
For real though, they don't
Yeah.
want to like use a new engine. I'm getting way too furious about this. This is not what the Nintendo section was supposed to be about. This is supposed to be about
It's
excitement,
supposed to be a happy
not
place.
disappointment.
Yeah.
Let the hate flow
Oh,
through you.
My
this isn't
disappointment
the
is
Star Wars
immeasurable,
section.
and this podcast is ruined. So let's
Damn.
move on to some better information.
Damn shit.
Animal Crossing, slight delay. It's not coming out this year. They announced March 2020, but we did get to see a short gameplay trailer, and they gave a title. I did not write the title down, so you're gonna have to Google it. But I need more Animal Crossing in my life. This is one of those, play it for 5 minutes just to like not deal with stress kind of video games. And oh boy, do I need that after hearing this fucking
After dealing with this Pokemon bullshit.
God. Anyway, moving on. We knew they were going to announce one character for Smash. We didn't know they were going to announce two. So the first one was they announced one of the Dragon Quest protagonists is going to be in Smash, and then for kind of alternate fighter sets, some of the other protagonists from other games are going to be like the alternate character, which is pretty cool. We knew Square Enix was up to something. I just hoped it was Sora because everyone wanted Sora for Smash. But having Dragon Quest is pretty cool. Smash always has that effect that it gets people who previously didn't even know about a game series to know about it. So this will definitely boost Dragon Quest popularity.
Can I just say, also, I wouldn't be surprised if part of the reason for Dragon Quest is because Dragon Quest is the biggest shit in Japan.
Dragon Quest is absolutely insane there.
That's what I mean, though. That's why I'm saying
it's honestly bigger than Final Fantasy now.
Yes, that's what I mean. Keep going. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. And then the second one, they trolled the shit out of us. So they almost recreated the same trailer they used for when they announced King K. Rool, where it was just Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong flipping out about a new character, and you see the silhouette of Banjo-Kazooie, and they fake you out and show you that it was just the Duck Hunt dog fucking with you, and then they play all the sound effects from Duck Hunt as he just laughs like when you miss the duck in the game. They're just trolling, and then Banjo-Kazooie actually shows up, and they reveal that he's a new character.
Damn, the reverse, the switcheroo.
It was a real good troll.
Oh yeah, I saw Aiden here at work. Oh, I think they trolled me. Oh wait, no, it's real.
They got me, but I was like, wait a minute. I saw a Jiggy. I know I saw a Jiggy when this trailer started.
Yeah, no. The second half, I'm like,
do
I'm
me
like,
like
all right,
that.
it's fucking confirmed. The rest of this is just gonna be a giant joke. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. And everyone's really freaking out because they didn't think Banjo was gonna get it all, and this is now the third character. So everyone's like, oh, well, who's 4 and 5 then? So fans are already going wild, going, what's next? Even though we still got 2 more characters to release. Next, moving on to Zelda Land, we got one brand new game announced. I don't know if they talked about Cadence of Hyrule before, but they showed off a sequel to Breath of the Wild is in development. As someone who didn't play Breath of the Wild, I can't really comment. But Tyler, how do you feel?
I'm pretty excited. Honestly, I really like Breath of the Wild. I like what they did with it, and I'm kind of interested in what they're gonna do to break away from the "let's go kill Ganon" type thing. Because normally they're pretty good at that kind of stuff.
Have we established that
Honestly.
this is actually a direct sequel?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's
I didn't know if
confirmed
they said
direct
that.
sequel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
a
Yep,
direct
that's sick.
sequel.
This is me, this generation's Majora's Mask.
I feel like they're gonna do the "let's go kill Ganon" thing again, though, because they did the whole
Oh.
thing with the is Ganon's corpse there? Nah.
Oh, yeah.
And then they touch him, and then like there's that shockwave from the castle, and it's good. Like what unspeakable evil did they just release into the world now
Well,
that
yeah.
Ganon is gonna?
But maybe it won't be Ganon. Maybe it's just, yo, this is some evil shit. This is just me being hopeful, all right?
Now, if they go
Yeah.
back to like the original thing, like who's the dude before Ganon? The one from Skyward Sword.
Oh, I almost said my bad guy. What the hell? No, what the hell? What the hell is it? It's like
Demise.
Demise.
Yeah, if they did a Demise thing, I'd be cool with that. Like, Like the whole Calamity Ganon thing from the first game being like, oh, that was actually the manifestation of demise or whatever. Like that would have been that would be an interesting direction to go. I have one concern about this. And because it is a direct sequel, it makes me feel like we're just going to see the exact same open world that we've already spent hundreds of hours exploring in the first one. So I don't know. That's the only caveat that I can see to this. Otherwise, I'm fairly excited for it. I thoroughly enjoyed Breath of the Wild. I thought it was a really nice breath of fresh air. Haha, puns. For just for like the series in general, because you don't get like as far as I can remember, there's not been a game that has inspired that sense of like actual exploration in Discovery for me in a very long time.
Yeah, the exploration was fucking top notch, and it was great up until my cousin deleted my
Oh,
save file.
all right, Tyler.
Just
Oh,
upset.
this.
Just
I remember
upset.
this. Yeah.
Just mad. But no, it's
That's-
fine because that gives me an excuse to play it again.
You mad, bro?
No, I'm not mad. Like I said, it gives me an excuse to play it again.
Gives me an excuse to play it through for the first time.
Play through for the first time again.
First time for the last time.
Anyway, moving on. They announced that Cadence of Hyrule is going to release in like less than a month, 32 days, or I guess a little over 32 days from now. I like this. So the thing about E3 is all the games that are close enough to release, they've already spoken a lot about. There's no point talking to E3. So a lot of these games are 2020 games, which kind of sucks. That said, we do have a bunch coming out holiday season, but like, I hate this. Like, I want to play all these games right now, but not ever going to be out for a while. So
E3
Cadence of Hyrule looks like this top-down. They said it's a like roguelike game. I don't know if it's going to be that great, but if it reviews well, I might play it.
I mean, I liked Crypt of the Necrodancer. I thought it was really good. I mean, this is, it's the same people, so
Same thing, yeah.
I had never played it, but
you have to really be into that rhythm and like roguelike thing, though.
I do
So
like
I
rhythm.
like the idea of it, but I'm always bad at them.
Yeah. It offers an interesting dynamic because it forces you to make decisions at a specific pace in relation to whatever level you're on, which is actually an interesting concept gameplay wise.
I feel like given Nintendo's target audience, they're going to make it kind of. They'd probably lean towards the easier side with this, though, wouldn't they?
Probably, but from the gameplay they showed, they showed some pretty intense levels in there, and like beats. They got those sick beats going.
All right, maybe I'll give this a shot. But the next one, real quick, I'm just going to rapid fire the last three because they're really not that. Astral Chain. This was the cool ass futuristic Persona JoJo's Bizarre Adventure crossover game that Platinum Games is working on. They give it a date for it. I believe it's like the end of November. So right now, my current game sandwich is Death Stranding at the beginning of November, supposedly Pokemon Sword and Shield in the middle, and then Astral Chain right at the end. So November is fucking ridiculous. Moving on, they announced No More Heroes 3. I haven't played 1 or 2, but I love the aesthetic of this game. I don't really want to go back to my Wii to play it, so I'm probably just going to jump in at 3 and hope for the best. Another one for 3, Witcher 3, is coming out for Switch.
Hell yeah.
If you haven't already played it, or if you're not like me and just bought the PS4 version still haven't played it, then go grab it for Switch. Why the fuck not? And the last one is Spyro Trilogy is going to release on Switch. So if you didn't play that either, you have another opportunity to take it on the go. But that's it for Nintendo. That's not quite it for the weeb shit. Let's
oh
talk
god.
about anime for like 10 minutes real quick before we end this fucking long ass podcast.
Hey man, it's E3.
That's
what happened.
That was your topic. That was your whole podcast. Let me just get the out of the way so I don't have to talk about anime for 7 more days. But real quick, Attack on Titan. If you're not watching it, holy shit, you need to be watching this show. I'm in love with this. But more importantly, I think I talked about it last week, that Studio Wit, the studio that has been done Attack on Titan since season 1, announced they will not be returning should the show continue on to season 4. A lot of this is just the directors don't want to work on it. The show is hard to do. Studio Wit's not that big. They've had production problems. This season wasn't supposed to have a 3-month or no, was it 3 or 6, like 6 month gap? I don't know how long it was, but it was a long ass gap between part 1 and part 2 of season 3 that was supposed to be a continuous run. Point is, they can't do it. But a fan was at one of the like big events for Attack on Titan, and the director was there, and they had a chance to ask him, "Is Attack on Titan coming back for season 4?" And he looks at him and he says, "Don't worry, it's coming back for season 4." So it sounds like the director may be sticking with it. That said, Studio Wit is a subsidiary of Production IG, so it sounds like Production IG is just going to take over work for it. They are on the what's the word I'm looking for? Production committee. So it kind of all lines up.
Throw it around so much.
Yeah, and given that Studio Wit is a subsidiary, it's really not that hard for them to pull any key personnel who are still on the project, meaning like the director or anyone else who's sticking there. Again, everyone ends up in the air like, well, what if Studio Bones gets it? And as much as I love that, it's not fucked. But we can look excited for season 4 because after the last episode of season 3, or not the final, the last episode that came out as of today, they just fucking blew the doors off the series, and I can't believe there's only 3 episodes left this season. But speaking of hype cycles, let's move on to Hero Academia. So,
yay!
Look, I'm gonna be completely honest. Attack on Titan is like at my everything right now. I do not give a shit about Hero Academia. But let's just talk about this real quick. Since Hero Academia is starting in the fall, we're at the beginning edge of when they start hyping shit up. Like the last 2 months before a show airs, that's when you just get like announcements day after day, like new characters, new voices, new whatever. But we're just far out enough that they want to remind people like, hey, it's still happening. Don't forget our show exists. And they showed off
it's coming.
They showed off the character designs for the big 3 who we met in the last like 2 episodes last season with their hero uniforms. And then Funimation came out and they announced what to literally no one's surprised they have the streaming rights for Hero Academia.
Pikachu
but sort of, yeah. But sort of what they did with Attack on Titan, it's highly expected that they're just going to sub-license this out to Hulu and Crunchyroll, given that they had it in the past, and they can make a decent chunk of change by just like saying, "Give us money, you can have your viewer base that wasn't coming here anyway." That's what I'm pretty sure Funimation still has DVD rights, so they're just going to do that. It's probably going to end up on Adult Swim whenever that happens. They're probably going to do a simuldub for it as well. But let's move on to some like the weird news. So,
oh boy.
So once again,
this wasn't weird enough already.
This wasn't weird enough. So, like I said, we're kind of at that fringe era where all the shit that's coming in fall might start getting talked about. And they just announced this new show today called "How Heavy Are the Dumbbells That You Lift?" And I need to show the show to Luigi because Luigi and I have gotten into like lifting every day at the gym recently. And this show is about, and I'm gonna speculate because the trailer didn't have subtitles. So it's about this girl in high school, and one day she notices she's putting on weight. So she goes to the gym, and it's her and her other cute anime girlfriend learning how to lift, but at the same time, there's all these very muscular dudes all doing extreme powerlifting in the background. So it looks like a comedy based around gym antics with cute anime girls. Recipe for success. We're going to watch this. It's going to be 10 out of 10 anime this season. Less dumb news. There was a big event to celebrate the release of the Code Geass movies worldwide. And someone asked a question to the director about like, how would you direct Code Geass differently today? And he said, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Due to trends in anime, no production committee out there would approve a show like Code Geass. And it was really jarring to hear that. And he's like, no one wants these dark shows. It was right after the Great Recession hit most of the world that you'll notice this trend in anime. A lot of them move towards these happy slice of life, not real conflict kind of shows. And a lot of people are arguing that we're kind of trending back towards darker shows. Like the newest Gundam that the studio Sunrise, who wouldn't make another Geass, made, was not like the most upbeat film ever. You have shows like Goblin Slayer dominating in the West. Like
hell, Shield Hero.
Shield Hero. So I rewatched episode 1 of Shield Hero because I'm showing my buddy David, and I forgot how like dark and edgy the show came off as in episode 1. And like there's more demand for that. So I'm not sure if we're gonna see that swing back away from cutesy slice of life into darker, more serious shows. But it seems like right now production committees don't want to put out these deeper shows just because there's concerns that A, no one's gonna like it, and B, no one's gonna pay for it. Whereas you can just print all the cute anime girl shit you want and people will eat it up.
Like you and Luigi.
Hey man. Don't
Hey,
man.
Let's
like
not
that.
shame here. Let's not. It's
Well,
perfectly
why not?
okay to have those anime waifus. Everybody
Yeah.
likes them.
Everybody's got a
Even
wife.
secretly, everybody has a waifu. They may not talk about it, but we all know.
Even
you do.
normies have waifu.
Hell yeah. But moving on. So the Studio Trigger was working on the movie Promare. It premiered in Japan. I don't know what the deal is with the U.S. premiere, but I'm dying to watch this. And at one of the fan events, someone asked him, "Why does the main character look like Kamina?" And the art designer, who is the guy who designed Kamina, said, "Well, it's a problem I have. Every time I sketch a character, they always look like Kamina." And he brought his original sketches to the original planning board, and like, "We love his design. Keep it the way it is." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "Yeah, don't change a thing." So he's like, "I didn't want him to look like this, but everyone I draw looks like this, and they liked it, so we kept it." So it's like, it's sort of a coincidence.
Well, I also read a little bit of that, and he was like, it's similar, but it's different because he has like that windblown look. He said
His hair is a little more fluffier.
Wind
Yeah.
blown.
He's also nowhere near as like, he doesn't have the
Awesome.
muscle structure that
You're right.
Kamina had. He's also a very different character, but still, like, if you just look at stills, you're like, wow, his eyes, and he has blue hair, and it's similar enough, but even he's just like, I always draw them like this. Last two really short ones. First one is the last Food Wars chapter comes out next Monday.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
So once it
Thank
ends,
you for bestowing this knowledge upon me.
So they said there's gonna be a
the
big
channel is useful.
They said there was gonna be a big announcement when the chapter drops. So I'm dying to know what the announcement is. If it's not a season 4, it means I'm gonna start just reading the manga all the way through because it's never gonna get animated. But I'm hoping it just means there's a season 4 coming up. Even if JC Staff is a piece of shit and decides to animate the whole show in PowerPoint again, I'm still gonna watch the shit out of that and then proceed to read the manga. But that's what's gonna happen. Last one, we'll close out with a little bit of controversy. A couple weeks ago, everyone was talking about how with Dragon Ball Super, real quick, big spoiler for Dragon Ball Super. Skip ahead about a minute. So the episode where Ultra Instinct happens came out on Toonami like 2 weeks ago. And during that scene, there's a very high frame rate sequence. And instead of looking nice, it was dropped down to like 4 frames per second and looked like shit. So everyone went to Twitter. They're flaming Funimation. Funimation's like, we don't know. Like, we gave them the episode and it looked fine. And Adult Swim tweets out, well, we don't know. We aired exactly what we were given and it looked fine. So everyone's like, well, who's at fault? Finally, the VP of programming at Adult Swim said that there are current restrictions on what you can show on TV, especially late night, where high frame rate segments do need to be manually slowed down. And that scene in Dragon Ball was 4 frames over. So instead of like tweaking it to be the limit, they just like cut it in half because they didn't want to bother with it and didn't think it would cause much of an issue. They're like, we realize the issue and we're going to take like a higher focus on the next couple episodes to make sure there's no issues like this in the future. But it was like Adult Swim changed it and they denied they changed it. And now they've been getting grilled so hard. They're like, actually, yeah, we changed it.
We changed it. Whoops.
Yeah, but it was one of those like, we're sorry, we're being lazy. We won't be lazy.
Holy
It sounds like
shit.
the most Adult Swim thing you could fucking announce. Like, I just imagine some stone dude being like, sorry, I didn't realize it would matter that much. Oh, my bad, let me fix it. But that's it for the weeb shit.
I'm very
clock in there, Tim.
Wars.
What?
What's our timestamp right now?
We are just broke an hour and a half, so it's actually perfect for us to do closing and call it a day.
Hell yeah, under 10 minutes. Let's do this.
Alrighty. Oh man. Friedman, or well, outside of E3, I guess we can all say we've at least paid to varying degrees of attention E3 stuff. But Friedman, what else have you been up to, and what else is coming up?
So Tyler wants this. I started playing Final Fantasy X again after a long break, just because I was right up at the fight with Seymour. If anyone hasn't played Final Fantasy X, all of his boss fights suck a lot. It took me like 45 minutes to beat this dude in just one go where I almost fucked up 5 times.
Jeez.
Apparently I'm close to the end of 10, so I do want to try and beat it and move on to something else. I was telling Tyler before the program, November looks stacked, so I want to try and finish off Final Fantasy X and like start Witcher 3 now. So I'll like supposedly be done in a reasonable amount of time before the November game rush happens.
I was gonna say Cyberpunk.
I mean, Cyberpunk, we got a while for that. Like, I'm concerned about March 2 because I have Final Fantasy 7, which I expect is going to take a good chunk of time. And then we have Cyberpunk coming out like not so far after that.
Very true.
So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might just have to like, I don't want to like abandon games in the middle because it means I never finish them. But I might just have to like delay playing certain games on launch. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to play Pokemon at launch if I'm really into Death Stranding, depending on how long that game is. Or if Pokemon turns out to not be bad, I don't know if I'm going to play Astral Chain on launch day. Like, I may just have to delay some of these games and not play them right when they come out. But, like, just because of how excited you guys are, I don't think that's an option for Cyberpunk. I need to be playing it at launch with you guys to A, appreciate this, and B, keep up the discussion amongst us, and not just get like voted out of the group chat.
You know what sucks? I don't want to have to play Cyberpunk at launch, actually, only because it was so awesome with Witcher 3 to play through the whole Game of the Year edition at one time. But, I mean...
Nah, I'm playing. I already told.
No. Look,
Hayden
like I said,
and you guys,
before
I'm
you
playing it
interrupted
launch.
me, Tyler,
No,
I was
fuck
gonna
you.
say I think I'm gonna just have to bite the bullet though and actually do it.
Damn right.
I don't want to because like I said, like Tyler, you just went through Witcher 3 and finally beat the DLC stuff. Like
Yeah.
Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. Blood and Wine is like some of the best content in the whole fucking game.
Yeah.
And it's like, man,
It
I
is.
can't even imagine what it's like to play Witcher 3 at launch and then come back like a year and a half later and play fucking Blood and Wine and have to remember what was going on and everything. Anyway, sorry.
Fine.
Keep going, Freeman. I'm sorry. We got off topic.
So what was I taking? Final Fantasy 10. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. So I'm doing that. I was trying to watch Witcher this weekend, but my house is getting repainted, and there was so much shit in front of my TV. I didn't want to move everything around and just watch. But I am trying to watch through the John Wick movies just because you guys talk about him so much. Keanu's the big hottest on the internet. I feel like I can only stay out of loop for so long. So my new goal is find time to just watch through the movie trilogy.
Well, when are you gonna watch? How are you gonna watch John Wick 3? Isn't it still in theaters?
Yo ho, yo
I
ho.
believe it is.
A
Oh,
John
well.
Wick's life for me. If it's still in theaters, I can try and sneak in the first two, and then maybe convince my buddy to go next week.
I mean, no, I'm not gonna have enough time. Never
I'll
mind.
convince my
just
other buddy
wait.
then.
I was gonna say, yo, you trying to watch these John Wick movies? I'm like, Aiden and I tried. That didn't really work out too well.
I mean, I was willing to put in the effort. Somebody else
Dude,
wasn't,
I
though.
had no. My life is awful.
Oh my
I
god.
hate it.
Anyway, outside of that, still playing MTG Arena. I'm almost done grinding out the 15 wins in Singleton. Oh boy, does standard Singleton suck ass, and does not having a commander suck ass. I hate Singleton. Anyway,
Damn.
that's pretty much it for me.
Tyler, what are you doing?
Well, oh shit, what am I? I don't know. We're probably having a barbecue tomorrow or something right there, right, Aiden?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
trying.
nice.
We're doing that. We're doing that. Wait, okay? No, we're having the podcast next week, so I can talk about what I'm doing next weekend. Then,
Yeah, don't spoil it for us.
yeah, I'm not gonna try to spoil
Oh, God
it.
forbid.
I'm gonna try to make time to actually play games this week, but like I'm tied up with like family functions. Rebecca has her thing this weekend. Aiden. or
Oh, okay.
whatever. She's got her I'm going to a graduation party this weekend, and Father's Day, and I'm trying to run Boris and Warney on.
That's another D&D game Tyler's running for those at home.
Oh yeah. That's
I'm just
another
guessing
D&D
since
game.
I don't technically know that, but
yeah.
it sounds like it.
How's it going? Nice to meet you. I'm Boris.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is officially called The Adventures of Boris and Warneon.
Oh my god.
That is what the campaign is called. It's fucking ridiculous.
That is humorous.
The whole thing is humorous. We have a good time.
We have fun. We have fun.
We have fun. We have a good time. I want to play more games. I want to play more Sekiro. And maybe some Overwatch.
Roughly how far into Sekiro do you think you are?
Not far. Beginning of the game.
Why do you think
Who-
Aiden made
who,
fun of him earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
Did you beat Chained Ogre yet, or?
No, I haven't, dude.
Aiden, I would assume
I
any answer to
played-
any question is no.
I have. Yeah, actually.
Chained Ogre is like the first mini boss. Just FYI.
Well, so what my problem is lately I haven't had a chance to do much. Like today, I would have had time to play games. I ended up crashing instead when I got home.
Damn.
And I read before I go to bed now. I'm trying to read more, and I read the first book of the Dark Tower.
That's good. I want to do that more, but I end up just watching anime before sleep, which is really bad.
Yeah,
For
it's
multiple
really bad for
reasons.
your eyes.
Yeah, no, it's
Um,
more the watching part, not the anime that's bad, but
Yeah,
you could argue both ways.
I'm also reading this comic that has been out for a while called Die, and it's kind of like getting isekai'd. For those of you who are familiar with that meme, except these people don't actually die. It's more like Jumanji actually than anything, except with Dungeons and Dragons. It's pretty cool. And you
That
might
sounds sweet.
might like this.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, when you read the other things I gave you.
I'll get to them
Oof.
eventually.
Mhm.
That's fine. I'll read those when you play Sekiro.
Oof. Harsh.
No, that wasn't the deal.
I don't
Paul.
care. It's a deal now.
I'm altering the deal.
No. Yeah,
Afraid that I
I'm
altered
altering it no further. Get out of here, Tim.
Come on, it was so perfect.
It was. Still. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fine, Tim, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, I've been enjoying not being busy all the time, which is great.
Oh, must be nice. Must be fucking nice.
No, honestly, not a ton. Work just, like I said, got back to 40-hour weeks, which I've been reveling in. And by that I mean I've been kind of, I think I mentioned last week, I was kind of looking for a game to play. We talked about me getting a copy of Heart Gold from Tyler. And then, lo and behold, Saturday night, I'm with my Commander buddies, and I'm like, oh man, my buddy's talking about trying to send me Heart Gold so I can play it. And one of them goes, oh, I have Soul Silver and Heart Gold. You can take Heart Gold and delete my save and make your own. So I am actively playing Heart Gold. Oh shit, my rival just walked up. The anti-spiral just walked up to me.
Have you been playing during the podcast?
No.
Wow. You know what? Fine. I'm just gonna play Enter the Gungeon.
Fine. Next week,
So-
no one's gonna talk because we're all playing Pokemon
Hey,
during the recording.
that's untrue. Okay, I was only doing it. I was only doing it during the fucking Final Fantasy shit because I literally don't know that shit at all. Hey man, it took. So I have been spending I'm already on over 7 hours of this shit, and I just got my Gyarados from my Magikarp
You
that I
know
caught
what?
super early. So
I can't
I'm really
wait
good at this
till
game.
you fight Whitney, you bitch.
Whitney? The
Yeah.
Isn't she the normie?
Oh, you'll get to her.
yeah,
Yeah.
I beat her
when-
already. I beat her earlier.
Oh, what the fuck, man?
That's right. It's a lot easier now.
It is a lot easier. Red's a little bitch. All right, that's what makes me pissed. Because the original Gold version, Gold and Silver, Red destroyed you.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, that Miltank was very annoying, but I actually had a lot more trouble with this second gym.
Scyther?
Yeah, the Scyther that kept U-turning and sending out new people was a fucking bitch.
Oh yeah, because he used to have I don't know what his key ability was, but they switched it to U-turn, so that way he could just hit you with a big moving dead out before
So
you could hit him.
basically, each battle was send out my Magikarp, swap, then that Pokemon gets hit with the U-turn, kill the Kakuna or Metapod, lose like 2 Pokemon that way, and then just my my Magikarp does nothing. So it was down to like 2 Pokemon.
Damn, you actually brought a Magikarp into a gym battle.
No joke. No joke, but I beat Whitney with my Gyarados evolved.
Good.
I am now at level 20. My Gyarados is the highest level Pokemon I have at level 21. I just did it earlier today. I have been grinding literally since I got the old rod. Immediately caught a level 10 fucking what's his face? A level 10 Magikarp, and have been switching almost every single battle to get this fucking Gyarados immediately.
Jesus Christ, Timothy.
It's pretty amazing. I feel really proud of myself.
Man, hearing this childlike glee reminds me of a time when I wasn't so bitter about Pokemon and I missed it.
No, but
where
honestly,
have all the years gone?
So I
Things
will
will get
say
better.
it's been pretty fun to. I mean, it's funny to relive and be like, oh my god, some of this, like, I still fucking hate all this box bullshit, all the goddamn.
Well, the box
But
Gen 4 aren't
no.
bad.
I know it's all the way Pokemon works, but honestly, I'm just it's fun to be playing this again. I've been using my 3DS, which is nice since Val bought it for me years ago, and I barely used it like a bad person. Stop using scary face, you bitch.
Damn.
I just entered the
Scary Face,
I just
you
entered the
bitch.
tower with the 3 legendaries, and my rival's there, and I wasn't ready for this, but my Gyarados is actually eating the shit out of his Crocnaw. Because of course
Alright, so that's what you're doing now, Tim. What are you doing the rest of the week?
honestly, probably just play some Pokemon. Val and I have been finally sat down, and even though we were supposed to do chores around the house, we actually watched a shit ton of Lucifer. We just made it to season 4. We also watched 1 or 2 episodes of Grand Blue.
Before Val backed out.
So she got real pissed that I told you guys she backed out.
It's fine.
Why?
Like you're allowed to drop anime
No,
if you
no,
don't
no,
like
no.
Why
it.
does she get mad?
I recommend dropping anime.
I made it, according to her, I made it sound like she just doesn't like the show, when in actuality, what it is apparently is that she just doesn't like, when she's not drunk, the characters don't look, like she doesn't like the weird faces as much.
Oh, but they're so funny.
I know, that's why I'm like, but that's like
It's
kind of the
literally
point.
Attack on
That's
Titan
like-
faces.
Oh yeah, that's exactly it. But no, it was it's still very funny. I was still rolling around laughing. I tried to get my magic group to actually watch the first episode, but I didn't pull it off.
It's tricky. That's why I waited to the moment we were all trapped in a hotel room and no one had any
Well,
way of escaping
I
before I,
feel
showed
like
it to you.
I feel like honestly, all I need to show anyone to get them to watch that show is to just see the first scene where he walks up to the Grand Blue, opens the door, sees what's happening, and just closes the door.
Yeah, like it has the best opening gag for a comedy show.
No joke. That was the greatest. We talked about it anyway. As a side note, I should just say, Freeman knows what the theme of naming my Pokemon in this game and everything is.
It's fucking weeb.
This is like Freeman levels of weeb shit. So like I said, my rival is named the Anti-Spiral. So I always talk about to Val how I have to go beat up the Anti-Spiral.
Wow, you're such a fucking loser.
weeb.
But all of my Pokemon are different anime reference names.
What a weeb.
Like
All
my
right, Leslie.
no, this was the greatest one, especially because he evolved. My Magikarp I named Simone because he eventually turns into a
Ah, damn it.
Kill yourself.
and this one's appropriate. My Cyndaquil, I named him Hinata because of the red hair.
Goddamn.
They're all across the board fantastic. Deku is Togepi because he's a little baby also. Anyway, honestly, I've just been having fun with this. I just started reading a new book today called Red River that my magic buddy recommended. It seems like it's kind of a rebellion story on Mars kind of thing. I don't know. I got like 2 chapters in over lunch. Honestly, other than that, not much. Val and I are just working on Lucifer, and I'm honestly just playing Pokemon a bunch of Heart Gold. It's fun to play a Pokemon game like this again. Other than that, me and Freeman had a lot of fun doing Command Me on Sunday. We talked about the new set for a while. That was a really good live stream that we did for about 2 hours.
Didn't even invite me.
Nope.
Shit.
You would have just slept through the whole thing, so
Yeah, that's true.
not
You're right.
worth.
It's never worth me around.
Honestly, not much else. I'm just kind of enjoying things. Like I need to get back to the job hunt, but kind of just took this weekend to enjoy not working and not being at a convention and running around. Aiden, what have you been playing and watching lately?
Oh gosh, there's so much. Well, I mean, the first thing I've been up to, I guess, is invading podcasts I wasn't invited to. So,
Hey,
maybe I'll invade some more later on.
oh my god.
Honestly, I haven't had much time to play anything lately. I'm still working on my Sekiro playthrough 2 with the Bell Demon and Kuro's Charm. I'm stuck on Master Shinobi Owl, and I've been stuck there for like a month now, so should probably get back on that. I've been playing a lot of Baba Is You too, which is a very interesting puzzle game that one of my coworkers got me into, and it's been thoroughly brain expanding so far.
Brain expanding.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap my head around.
Recommendation to you?
New Paul.
Oh, new Paul.
Yeah.
Paul actually games.
Yes, sir. Yes, he does.
Oh, what am I saying? He was talking to me about Overwatch before I left.
Yeah, of course. I've been playing some Way of the Samurai 4. That's a thing that I
that's
got
a
back
throwback.
into. I know. Here's another throwback for you. I've been playing Overlord 2.
Dude, we
Yeah,
saw
you've
that.
Seen it.
No, so Aiden, I saw that on fucking Discord the other night. It's crazy to actually know someone who also played. Did you play 1?
I did play one, yeah.
Okay, so you are the first person I've ever met who also played the Overlord games.
I love them. They're like
I had a ton of fun with them.
so
Yeah, they're
good.
great. Well, they're not great, but they are very fun.
No, they are not good, but they are fun games.
Yeah. So you've
yeah.
never beat the second one?
The I played the second one and got to Everlight, and then I stopped playing. And I just got back to Everlight now, and that's where I'm at now. So I'm on the second town.
Enough. All I remember is that I've replayed one like 2 or 3 times. No, I think I've replayed one maybe once or twice after the first time. But I definitely think that 1 is better than 2 overall.
Yeah. I agree with that. But I don't own Overlord 1 on PC, so
I mean, if you wanted to, it seems it's always on sale on Steam.
yeah, it was. But I was like, man, I'm feeling some Overlord, and I already had it in my
That's fair.
so I was like, I'm gonna go for it.
When you played 1, did you beat the DLC, that Raising Hell? I actually never beat
no,
that.
I never got the DLC. I only played
okay.
the base game. So other than Overlord, because of the whole like Baldur's Gate hype, right? I went back and played some of Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, they're making the
announced,
third.
yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
What? How did this not come up?
Uh,
It came up in one of the E3 panels, didn't it?
Yeah,
but
'cause
like
I didn't care enough to say anything about it.
I mean, you were here for basically everything we covered outside of the Microsoft stuff.
Fair enough. But yeah, I'm super excited for Baldur's Gate. But like Larian Studios, so I was like, man, Original Sin 2, I could play that. But I was like, not feeling an RPG, so I'm playing Divinity Dragon Commander, which is like their old school RTS that they did.
I played. So funny story. I was doing a Let's Play of that game, beat the first region of that game, and when it opened up to the mega huge map, I literally tossed the keyboard down and was like, I am done with this game, and I have never touched it since. That game was way too long and got real fucking boring real quick.
That's fine. I've been having a good time with it though.
It's a cool game. It's one of those It's one of those RTSs that actually has like a unique element, which is always awesome. But like, my fucking god, do I have? I literally got to the over map and I'm like, oh my god, it took me hours to beat that first area. This is way too much shit going on. I'm not dealing with this. I'm uninstall.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. It does. It seems like it heads the Total War route, where if you hit a point where it's just like, I just want to auto resolve.
Yes.
All of this.
Oh my. You're giving me flashbacks to my Star Wars Empire at War Let's Plays. The whole reason I have viewers on this channel who I would, every time I did like a campaign run in that game, I would just start auto-resolving within like an hour. And everyone
because ground battles fucking suck in that game.
Oh yeah, I'll always auto-resolve those. But even in space, I was like, okay, I have such a big fleet. I just don't want to sit here with this shit. And like, hell, Aiden, I don't remember if I told you, but I've been playing random campaigns of Rome Total War 2 Rome Total War recently. And I'm just like,
nice, all right.
Like, I'll do some battles, or like sieges are usually interesting, and then I'm like, oh my god, just like, I have so many troops. I just can't wait for my horsemen to take an hour to ride up to these fuckers. Can we just skip this?
Yeah, nah, that's fair. Total War gets that way, especially when it's like, you have the overview is, I mean, that game alone, like even if you auto resolve everything, you're talking about hours to finish a campaign.
Unless you cheat.
But we don't like cheaters here. Don't cheat. Don't cheat at games, kids.
I can't say
unless
that.
it's Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, I love cheating in Rome Total War and getting shit tons of money and just killing everybody. Feels real good.
What are we teaching the future generations?
Who gives a shit?
Come on.
Oh my god, Hinata's trying to learn Flame Wheel. Hell yeah.
Oh,
Get the fuck out of All right, we've gone on way too long. Let's end this fucking podcast.
Yeah. One last thing. No. One last thing. Everybody should watch Food Wars. All right.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes, we've been advocating
watch Food Wars. That's it. That's pretty much all I got. Oh, and I'll read Tyler's books. I'll do that.
Yeah, read my books.
Hadrian's Wall and Mr. Miracle.
Yeah.
I'll get to it eventually. Other than that, I'm just
But maybe we'll
I'm
play
just
video
trying to
games
live my
after
life.
this podcast if we can end this podcast.
Nah, I gotta go.
Absolutely.
Well,
Oh,
okay, I
Tyler.
guess without
I
Tyler
haven't
then.
eaten dinner,
Holy.
and I
Tyler.
gotta go to work for Joe tomorrow.
Oh my fucking god! All right, we're gonna end this podcast so Tyler can take care of his physical needs because he is bad at that.
I mean, I'm too fat anyway. It's
Oh,
What is this? The
Jesus.
Sims?
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week, hopefully with E3 follow-up if we missed anything you want us to comment on, and some magic stuff we couldn't cover this week, and whatever else happens next week. But until next time, my name's Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
I'm just Tyler.
And
Aiden, the podcast invader.
Yeah.
That's your title from now on, Podcast Invader.
I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna drop in at random points from now on.
I mean, you know when we record, so
Exactly. You'll
All
never
right.
know when I'm gonna show up.
exactly. It's the spice of the podcast.
Jesus.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Bye.